Greetings, Internet. Didier here, and welcome to the first episode. We are so excited, and I know it's been so long since we released content. Uh, what can I say? It's been a strange year. We got COVID. I don't want to talk about that too much because hey, everyone knows about it. You're not coming here for that. All right, you're coming here to be entertained, and that's what we want to do for you today. We got a brand new FanZ set, FanZ set 15, and we have a special guest. How you doing today, Wayne?
I'm not special. I'm just a guest. I'm great.
Well, you are very special, and that's actually why you're a guest, because you're so
All
special.
right. Well, thank you, man. Thanks for having me around.
Of course, and yeah, so we wanted to sit down and talk about the new FanZ set that was released today. That honestly, I think overall the community response to this set has been really positive. I was very happy and very surprised about how positive and how much it's gotten people talking and discussing the game and thinking about new decks and everything. I I'm so happy. I couldn't be more happy with the response for this set. What do you think about
hmm
that, Wayne?
You're right. There has been like a lot more discussion about the game in general with this release. I don't know if that's because of us being pent up in a house for so long that everyone's just excited for new DBZ cards, but yeah, there has been like more of a response to this set's release. So it's all been really cool. I mean, everyone's really nice about it and speaking praises to the new set's cards as a whole, aside from like the Namekian cards, but we'll probably get into that later.
We'll get into that. And of course, I did that. Shout out to Frank DeLuca, who has been carrying the torch for Dragon Ball Z for so long, and he's pretty much the only one pushing out consistent content. And I feel like he's taken the full weight of the community shoulders on his back. So thank you for that, Frank. Hey, but I'm back. We're back, and we're gonna let's get some friendly competition going. All right, we'll get some. Hey, we know we're DBZ fans, so any competition is always gonna make us perform better, right?
Get the Zenkai boost, dog.
All right, so we're gonna kick it off here. We're gonna do this rapid fire. These cards have been discussed on end, but hey, we're competent players here. You want more opinions? You're gonna get all the opinions from Wayne and I today. So we'll kick it off here. We're gonna do a full set review. Oh, and I also, before we get officially started, I just wanted to say this is the first RNG podcast. I've said many times before that we are a gaming channel and not just a DBZ channel. So will always focus on DBZ content, and DBZ content will always be the number one content on RNG. But hey, I play other games too, and I'm sure Wayne does, and we have lots of other friends who play lots of other games. So expect to
And all that.
see other gaming content and gaming news and current events, and who knows what we'll do with this format. So, but hey,
Stay
DBZ,
stay tuned. Stay
yeah.
tuned. Because that My Hero's coming out. It's coming.
Oh, it's funny you say that. I've been loosely following it, so I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm gonna throw. Have you pre-ordered?
I haven't pre-ordered, but I've been paying attention. It's been coming out for like 2 or 3 years, so like
Right.
I almost feel like it's not real, but
And they don't have an
when it
official
happens,
and they don't have an official release date yet, which is sad.
nah, they've been super loose about it.
Yeah. All right. So, but I've been following it as well, so I'm there with you.
hmm
All right. So, kicking off here, hey, we're gonna do a full set review of Movie Collection 3. We got about a little over 50 cards to go over here, and let's start off. We're just gonna do this in order, starting off with dun, 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 Black Diabolic Scheme. This is fire card here. All right, villains only. It's a black searching technique, villains only, that's used when entering combat, and it also has a nice little spicy sprinkle of a alien, not alien, android trait that reveals their hand. So, I guess the question with this card is it better or worse, and how does it fit into your deck compared to black searching technique?
I think
So,
it's better.
yeah, straight up, I think it's better. It's
It,
tempo. It's the
yeah,
tempo
well,
with it.
yeah. I think that the game is a little bit too fast to play that old style that Black used to play of the pick your deck apart, I feel like the punches have gotten too big to like survive long enough for it to matter. So I feel like being able to just get it out the way before you enter combat and do what you got to do, I think is only gonna make for a better experience long term as far as this card goes. It sucks it has to be villains only, but that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, of course, villains only. There are a lot of hero personalities that have been able to create a really strong wall in terms of defense, and then being able to sit back on defense and then have extra copies of a black searching technique like card. That's where the villains only came from. I just want to note the reveal your hand is not something to overlook. There aren't crazy strong androids in black style that like has a tier 1 black style deck for android right now. Maybe what's his face? Maybe we'll see 13 make a rise again, because that was a tier 1 deck forever. No one has played him forever. But more
level 3 still strong.
Oh, right? I mean, you can't get around it. But I'm thinking Black Swirl, because that card should never fall out of flavor. It's an aggressive confrontation, almost, kind of. Like, better in many ways. And it's just, this card is going to enable you to use Black Swirl a lot better. So powerful.
Swirl has gotten a lot of help recently anyways, like with the addition of Manipulative to the game. It's always had the help of Black Flashback. Now it's got On the Move. Also makes it a little better because you can block, they put it back in their hand, and then you name it, and then it's like, haha, I got you. So, like, yeah, like, Black Swirl is a card that I think that a lot of people are going to start getting into their 60. So,
yeah, of course, the great thing about this card, unlike Black Searching Technique, where you just get to search and you get full knowledge of your opponent's deck while you're picking the cards, this you have to name them. If you have multiple copies in play, you can use the first copy to, scout out the opponent's deck and then figure out what you want to name for the second copy. So that's important to note. If you do have multiple copies in play, they combo nicely with each other. What do you think, Wayne? You think straight up replacement of BST and then sprinkled into heavy control decks are going to play both?
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I think that the decks that there will be the decks that play both, because obviously they combo nicely together if you play the BST first, because then you get to hit your targets at 100% accuracy. Right. But I think that Android 20 is going to actually love this card.
Yeah. Android 20.
I'm not gonna say why, but I think that 20 is gonna be able to use this card to its fullest potential.
Interesting. You do get the hand reveal on the 21 already, but yeah, I mean he played a control game and a life card beat game already, so this just adds perfectly into that.
Because if you think about it, right, his game is the board. So if you have a proactive way to protect your board and get rid of all the cards that they have that disrupt your board, it's only going to make him even more powerful. So
right.
But I think that a lot of players will shy away from this card because the fact that you do have to be pretty knowledgeable about the game as a whole. I know there's a lot of players in the game that only play one style or a couple styles. Well, no, with this card, if you haven't seen their deck already, you got to know the names of the blocks for like whatever sits across from you. So I think that might deter some people from playing this card versus the BST because it's just like easier. But like I said, I think time is a factor in combat. So
yeah, I think time as a warrior's tool is going to be what you go for, because they play it. Unless you're playing an adept freezing drill deck, that's the only deck I can think of that don't play time. But other than that, you can whiff pretty easy if you just go for the Unleashed. Even if it looks like an Unleashed deck, they may not play Unleashed. Like, you don't know. They could just go Anger or try to push like a Slime MPVV or something like that. So yeah, there is definitely a chance to whiff with this. I think you should pretty much standard always name Time as Warrior's Tool first. And then me personally, I'm an aggressive player, so I'm going to go for the high value blocks. I'm going to name the red blocking hand. I'm going to name the black knee catch and things like that as my first go-tos with this.
I think that some people might not like it for that reason, that you only get one card. So can you imagine, like you said, I pick Time and Unleashed. I get them both. I'm feeling good about it. And then we go in the combat and you play your second Unleashed. I'm like, oh.
What are you going to do? I mean, you run into the same problem with BST.
Yeah, well, yeah, math, it's a little bit. You get two instead of one. But,
all right.
Who's counting?
Time. I always grab Time with my first BST. I get that out of there. Unless my deck is well combated to fight it.
Uh-huh.
All right, moving
Makes
on
sense.
here. We got Black Blade. Wapa-pa-pa. This guy, he's got a blade. He's whipping it out, and he's banishing lots of cards from the opponent's discard pile. So on use from your hand, you're going to get to choose. You're going to get a Dev Blow that does no damage. You're going to get to choose 3 and banish them. And then as an action, I like to call this Black Saiyan Rescue. It's Black's version of Saiyan Rescue. So Rescue gets the on use rejuvenation and then the targeted rejuvenation. Same thing here. On use banish, targeted banish. So
That's a good comparison,
yeah,
actually.
yeah.
There you go. You still got it after all this time.
Hey, I'm still doing stuff behind the scenes. I'm just not playing openly in the community. That's all.
Wow, yeah. Wow, dude. That's crazy. The way you just made me feel about this card, like you totally just moved it because like we all know that Saiyan Rescue is good because we've been playing it since set 1, right? It's set 1 card, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, set
We all
2.
been
Set
playing it
2.
since set 2. I see. I had some reservation, but we all know how strong that card is, right? So I'm looking at this card and I don't feel that way at all until you mention their similarities. And I'm like, all right, well they are very similar, but I guess like being able to put a card back in your deck just feels that much better than taking a card away from their discard pile. Is that a thing? I don't know. I haven't played with this card enough to know, but like you saying that makes me like give it more of a chance. So
I think where this card is going to fit in black, some styles, some decks in black really crave that extra attach card, and if you don't necessarily want to play punt, you can't make use of punt. It's just a vanilla 5 life card physical. Or say in heroes you have what oh, you have bite, but some decks can't use bite. So
a
that
lot of decks.
right, exactly. Well, a lot of decks will play the name cards that are at least, so at least you at least have like 3 to 6, and then usually you're playing I'll Dig Your Grave, depending on the deck again. But if the more control-y decks are not going to want bite, and if you're a hero, your options are extremely limited. Like you got Black Android Programming, which definitely not every deck can use.
No.
This is at least a vanilla attached card that can do something for you. This is not a bomb card. And it's definitely not as strong as Rescue either. I compare it to Rescue because it is a black style Rescue, but the power of this compared to Rescue, you can't compare the two cards. Banishing a card from your opponent's discard pile is great, but rejuvenating your own card is way more powerful than that.
I love how like you brought up the comparison, and then at the end of your statement, you're saying you can't compare the cards. And you know what I think the difference is? I think the difference is that Saiyan has effects that you get from rejuvenating a card,
Yeah.
whereas Black really doesn't have too many effects that are played that are good from you banishing a card from your opponent's deck. Maybe we'll see some of those in the future.
Yeah. We have a few. They're not great cards. Like you have
Yeah, exactly.
Black Hair Pull and the Black Counter Ball, I think it's called, that increase damage when you play them, depending on what the banishment is. I think it's called Black Counter Ball. I actually always liked that card because it had a ceiling of like 10 or 12
10?
damage.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, is it called Counterball? I know which card you're talking about. Set 3. Forget the name of it.
It was always a card that I would look at and read and be like, oh, I want to throw this in a list, and I just never made the cut. But
You know the problem? The problem is that you have to do the work, and not only do you have to do the work, I think it's like types, isn't it? Is it types or is it actual cards that are banished?
I want to say it's energy combats for that one, and then the Black Hair Pull is the type one.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. You never know what your opponent's gonna bring to the table. Like nowadays, there are like decks that only play like physicals and energies, and that's it. So it kind of puts a cap on what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yep, of course, Black Reflection, like we talked about, being
Mm-hmm.
able to combo, and Frank mentioned this in his cast, or I'm not sure if it was Frank or someone else, but Frank, they talk like Black Reflection. Jesus, it's so strong.
That card's so good. It's been good, but now it's like it's out of this world. Black Mist gave that card such a boost.
Right, and of course this combos with Mist as well. Actually, it doesn't combo with Mist because you can't. Yeah, because you banish the event. You play a copy of the event, so you won't attach it. That's sad.
I don't think you're looking for this anyway. You want the juicy cards, the schematics, and
Right.
all those other things. You know.
Yeah, so this is decent. I I personally wish it just like had another sentence. That's just me personally. But I'm a
What
combo
sentence would you
player.
strap on it?
What sentence would I strap on it?
Hmm.
If I would have it do something special if it banished a certain card. Like if you banish a card with endurance, or if you banish a non-style card, use a, like, you know, I don't want to say use a critical damage effect because that's super powerful.
I put on it lower your opponent's anger one.
Yeah,
Black,
something just
traditionally has a, like something. Yeah,
some
you're right.
cool that like, oh, let me pick out this specific card and get this effect or
Get
something
this
like that.
benefit. Yeah, that makes so much sense. Yeah, it should do something like that.
Yeah. All right. So again, I think this will fit in lists because of Black's shitty attach cards. Outside of punt in specific decks.
I don't know, man. We'll see, I guess.
All right, moving on here. We got Black Distortion. This is a interesting card. Fills a hole in black. Target. It's an event targeted. Shuffle an opponent's setup, drill, or ally and play into its owner's life deck, or lower your opponent's anger 2. Hey, you got the Videl treatment, although Videl cannot utilize the ore on this card because it's not named. That was so sad.
So, what's the first thing that you think about when you look at this card?
Black
Like
Declaration.
the first thing that comes to your mind.
Black
deck.
Yeah.
Just getting rid of it, or
Oh well.
playing it in tandem.
What? No. There are so many decks that don't want to play Black Declaration, and when you're building a black deck, your list of board control cards that you have available to you is so limited. It's so crazy how limited board control is in black, and I sometimes find, like, I know that I've made some perceptive lists, or I've made some like manipulative lists that have want to run Black Declaration just because it doesn't really have a good other option. And it just it feels bad when you throw Black Declaration in a deck that you're not discarding it from hand. And
When you don't have an outlet, you mean.
Right. So
Yeah, I got it.
So and that I feel like you take so much power away from Black Declaration when you do that, and you take it away its ability to be used in combat. And Black Declaration even has combos where you can, like, talk about board control reactive versus proactive. You can use Black Declaration proactively and say, oh, I just ball 7'd you, I'm going to shuffle my ball 7 back in and then do more damage to you. Whereas with this card, you can't do that.
Can't do that. Yeah, it's the oldest Black Krillin trick in the book, is shuffling in your own ball 7.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing that comes to my mind when I look at this card is that it doesn't say banish after use. Black events are notorious for saying BAU, and that like we just talked about Black Reflection. It just tanks Black Reflection because you don't get that double dip out of like your very strong event cards that Black traditionally has. They're all BAU. So we've been getting some more powerful ones as of late. We got Schematics in set 7, I think that was, and that doesn't banish after use, so that's nice. And this is also nice because, like I said, it doesn't banish after use, which is cool, and it fills up the blackboard problem that's been prevalent if you're not perceptive or have a discard outlet. So I think that's really good.
Yep. So you got Black Mist again, and I think the power of this card is going to come in. Like I said, so limited. You got Black Declaration, Black Refusal. What is there past that?
You said deck refusal. You've got like Band-Aid cards like Black Destruction Beam that banishes for like the rest of the turn.
Right. Yep.
And that's cool, I guess, but like there's not much damage on that. All the black cards are just almost good enough to play that deal with the board. Like there's ones where you have to blow up your stuff to blow up something they have. I think that's refusal, like you said, right?
Yep. I love
refusal.
refusal.
There's not a lot. I know you do, but
but it's not for every deck. You cannot
Exactly.
run that in every deck. No.
Exactly. You feel good about running this in every deck because it has a secondary effect of lowering your opponent's anger, which is another problem that Black has. So like I think this card it doesn't have like a bad home. You can't put it somewhere and it'd be like, oh no, this is not good. Like this is okay.
Yeah, I feel like when you read this card, you read it as a 6 out of 10, but when you start slotting it in decks, it's higher than that because of the hole that it fills in the style. Also, the lower anger 2, do not overlook that. It is very powerful. 2 anger, like just draining your opponent 2 anger, can change the combat completely. So, and Black doesn't have many options for that.
Yeah, I look at it and see an 8, and I think, like you said, I think it's higher than an 8. I like it because it's like it is an event, right? You don't have to worry about it getting blocked, and your opponent get a positive effect. And also, like we already mentioned, Black plays a ton of powerful events, right? So, like, if your opponent doesn't have a board and you have like a very powerful event that you want to play, and you're afraid of like a sphere, you can like stick this out there as like a bait. Like, oh, it's okay if you sphere this, but because I really don't want you to sphere this other thing I have. So I like that the fact that it could be like a jab to like your knockout punches coming later. So.
Yeah, and always great that it shuffle. It's like a double-edged sword that it shuffles because you get around effects that would prevent you from removing things off the board. Like if anything says, "Oh, it cannot be destroyed," or they use a protection effect, or they have, I can't remember the drill, the orange drill that protects. Or does that say leaving play?
No, I think it protects. I know what you're talking about. Damn, I can't remember the name of it.
The hero drill.
Yeah, dude.
The focusing drill replacement. We'll get it.
Anyway, y'all know which card we mean.
But yeah, so really good card. I always want to push the power, right? I wish this just was a little bit stronger. I wish.
No, this card's perfect, and the shuffles can be good sometimes too. Like when people stack their deck, like there's a lot of malicious intent running around, and you just blow that up. You know what I mean? Like you don't get that. So that's kind of cool.
I just want all the power for Black.
I know you do. I do too. Trust me.
All right.
And I think we got a good amount. You think that's Black's best card this set?
Distortion?
Mm-hmm.
No, the BST. The BST is definitely better. Mostly because of when entering combat. That I think people are, when it first was released, like people knew it was really strong, but I think it's even being undershot how strong it is because that just initial, like before even combat starts, getting that deck search and banish, like you can do it aggressively before they draw. It's freaking crazy strong. Yeah. I can't call that card better than this one. I can't call this card better than that one. No way.
I think this one's more flexible, man. But I feel you. Like the Diabolic Scheme is a very, very powerful card. It's just I wish you could put it in more places. That's all. I think it is. I think Distortion is the strongest Black card that Black got.
It fills a big hole in Black. So based on that alone, I can almost agree with you. Almost.
That's fair. I'll take it.
All right, moving on here. We got Black Shattering Strike. So this is manipulative card. We got, if this card is revealed by your hand from a mastery effect, raise your anger 1. Physical attack, raise your anger 1. Namekian, shuffle into life deck after you use 5 life cards. This card, it's great. This is like bread and butter. Not banished after use. Bread and butter for manipulative. Goes straight for the life, which Black Style loves. Black Style loves going straight for the life. Very big theme in Black Style. 2 anger card on the defense, 1 anger on the offense.
So simple. It's so simple, but yet still it feels like it does a lot. You know?
If you just imagine, a block. I mean, it's not a block, right? With manipulative, it's prevention.
It is a block.
It is a block.
You know it's a block. It's not a block, but it's a block.
Okay, don't like
manipulative decks are gonna hold this for when their opponent attacks to get the 2 anger.
Right. Like, I'm just saying.
Card will be used.
So if you just imagine this on a card that says prevent damage from an attack, raise your anger 2, shuffle into your life deck after use. Like, who wouldn't play that card? Raise your anger 2, shuffle into your life deck after use. That's tier 1 block. That's tier 0 block.
It's got 3 endurance on it too, so it's doing double duty for you.
So
like, there's nothing you can say about this card that hasn't already been said. So I guess what I'll say is that the trait is interesting to me because like it almost suggests that you play it with a Namekian MP, right? And I wonder, like, when they decide to put that trait on this specific card, is there actually something there? Is it like a puzzle piece that the devs are giving us? Like, hey, like, listen, there's this really strong Black deck that exists that we found, but it only works if you play this MP and he's Namekian. Figure it out. Like, is that a real thing, or is it like, hey guys, you want to like watch some real funny? Let's put the Namekian on this, so they play all the Namekian, and there's no synergy at all. Like, well, isn't that like diabolical shit? Like,
everyone plays every personality and every style pretty much. Right. There are strategies that you can do with most MPs in most styles. And I think it says a big thing that this card goes straight for the life, because those Namekian personalities, outside of Gohan, there's not a Namekian personality that's going to be physically beating you. Like Kami.
They made a whole Piccolo stack, dog.
Yeah, all right. But you doing that in black, though? Maybe.
That's the thing. That's the thing. This type of shit makes me wonder. It's like, is there really something to this, or like, are they just like making me waste my time?
Making you waste
You know
your
what I
time.
mean? Because that's how, I don't know. I don't know about y'all, but that's how I look at it. Kinda. Like,
I love the manipulative. I love the defensive, slow slime anger that black has, and then how that's highlighted in manipulative, because it kind of turns that to 10, because you have the slime anger already, and then you add the defensive manipulative, and you say, okay, I'm not gonna combo crazy anger like red style does, but I'm gonna be able to do some tricks in combat. I'm gonna be able to banish your anti-anger cards directly from your deck. I'm gonna be able to defend the things you're throwing at me, and then disrupt your hand and slow you down, so I have enough time to anger. And I think this card is just perfect for that. I really do believe we're gonna see a very strong manipulative slime anger deck, and whether or not you're gonna use the Namekian.
is it good? We don't know. We don't know. It might be. But I agree with you, man. It's like it is very comparable to red, like you said. It's like I might not be as fast, but I'm definitely harder to stop.
There you go. Very much harder to disrupt. And this card is going to fit perfectly into that. All right, moving on here. We got Black Key Reflection. So if this card is destroyed from your life deck, you may rejuvenate it. Uh-oh. There it is, Wayne. There's Tien.
My boy.
Do it up.
My boy. Yeah, man.
Stops an energy attack. You may reveal a card from your hand. If you do, your opponent reveals a card from their hand. Lower their anger 1.
Yeah. I can't remember which other energy block I was running besides protection, but like this is definitely gonna be in that. And you know what? I hope we see more of this. I hope we see more effects that like you get from discarding off the top, because black has a handful of them, but none of them are like really, really powerful. Like there are only like 1 or 2 of them that are like really impactful as far as like the rest of the field is concerned. But this is definitely good. I like the fact that this card has a place in both manipulative and anything that destroys off the top.
Right.
Like perceptive. You know, it kind of like naturally has synergies with both the masteries, which is what I feel black lacks. I feel like black has a lot of individually powerful cards, but like it doesn't have like very sound strategies. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? Like
Absolutely.
they have very good cards, but when you put them together, they don't work well. They don't play nice together.
I think it's getting there with the destroy effects. We have released a lot of support for that. Like you got, what is it, Gut Crush, that gets a drill when it's destroyed. You have obviously Double Team, and you just mentioned Protection. So Protection gets you the card, and then Double Team goes to your hand. So those are all great effects. This is just added in there. It's tough though, because I don't know, like you're running 3 Protection, because why wouldn't you want to draw a card? And then trying to fit this in. Is it better than swipe? I guess it really depends on the play from hand. How well you're utilizing that play from hand.
Yeah, it depends on what you're doing too, honestly, because like if you're playing like like Black Reflection, then you're gonna want swipe, like because you're gonna want to choose whatever you have access to with your reflection. I just think that the effects like there've been a lot of destroy off the top effects that rejuvenate, and that's cool because it keeps you from dying if you're like really diving like heavy into the destroy type aspect of the style. But like if you're not, then there's only 2 of them that you really get excited about. You get excited about Protection because it draws you a card, and Double Team because it gets you another card. The drill is cool, but it's not the best because, like we said earlier, from the strike, we're sliming. So a lot of the times we're jumping levels, we're gonna lose that drill anyway. You know what I mean? So that's why like the cards are getting a drill is a good effect. Don't get me wrong. But it doesn't play nice with what Black's trying to do because traditionally they're hopping levels. So I don't know. It makes you feel weird.
Yeah. So Unfortunately, the card we previously showed doesn't combo with this card. It's sad because you want to get that anger. And what is it? I can't remember the name of the last card. Let me flip over here. But yeah, it's revealed from a mastery effect, so you can't trigger the anger from the block. So that's unfortunate. Off the top of your head, Wayne, I know you've played way more manipulative than me. Do you know of any cards that combo? I'm about to just like look up a few just to see how much combo potential this card has.
I think, well, not directly, but I think it combos with Swirl, like we talked about earlier.
Right.
Because you get a little bit of information. If they don't use it, then you get to call it out. I think a lot of them do say mastery effects, actually, now that I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. It's
never something you pay attention to because, like, there's not a lot of cards that reveal cards from your hand unless you're Broly. There's that one card, though, that, the one that's got, like, Boo's bottom half kicking Tien, I think it is, ironically.
Yeah, it's a great point about Broly. Broly will love this. May reveal a card from your hand. Of course, you know, you'll get the, the gigantic Meteor Crush targeted Rejuve. So not bad there. Hey, you got double Rejuve. Not bad. Mm-hmm. No legendary strike in black, though.
See what I mean? That card does so much.
But this card will only get stronger. That's the thing.
Yeah. That's true with a lot of the cards that come out, especially like when they first come out on release. You normally take some time for for them to get some support, and then you see the true potential of them. So.
Yep. So I'm gonna put this a little lower on my list. This is not. I think black has a lot of unsung hero energy blocks. There are some strong ones out there that I would probably consider over this one. But as the game continues, I think this will get stronger and stronger.
Yeah. Ditto.
Yep. Moving on here. Oh, so that was the last black card. So do we want to give a final word on black? I think it's kind of mid-tier of the set. I think black got a really strong hole filled with the board control, and I think the BST replacement / upgrade that they got is extremely strong. The other cards are really niche and only fit in specific decks, and they don't have like immediate value. And even the board control that they got is not immediate value. Well, it is immediate value, but it's like you're putting it back in their deck, and you're really hoping they don't draw it again.
There's power in that, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, I know. I'm aware. It's just what you want is to just destroy everything on the board. Or like, what did I say to Joey the other day? Because I was talking to him about the event, this black event, and I said, Joey, I was like, red style does an attack for 9 damage and banishes 2 cards on the board, or like destroys 2 cards on the board with red forceful strike. It's like, oh, red ruthless let me do 11 damage to you and then destroy 2 things on the board.
Yeah.
And black style's like, oh, let me play this event and shuffle this card into your life.
Yeah. It's funny when you think about it like that, man. But like, I don't know. Red is red, like if I had to try to rationalize it, red's a little more aggressive style. And like you have to do stuff like that in order to beat face fast enough to not die. I'm giving the black cards a little bit of a higher grade because now that I look at them, like 4 of the 5 cards have endurance. They all make sense to me. The only one that I'm really not feeling too tough is Black Blade. Otherwise, like I see what they were trying to do with each one of these cards, and I don't think any of them are lackluster. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of a higher grade.
Yeah. Good stuff. Moving on to blue here. Blue Tandem, very, very interesting card. This is like an extra layer of protection. This is going to be an extra layer of protection. So it stops if you only have one ally, which is a pretty prominent theme in blue style. A lot of cards say, and a lot of cards combo if you only have one ally. And there are some cards that may resurface because of this card that no one is really playing right now. Like there's one drill that I want to say it's either when an ally leaves play and you have no allies, it combos something with when you have only one or no allies, you draw a card.
Is that true? Is that transportation drill?
I can't. Yeah, it's one.
Alex?
I can't remember. I know. We should have did more research before.
I think that's it, bro. Hold on. You're gonna have to give me a cookie on this one. Yep, blue transportation drill. Use when an ally enters play under your control. If it's the only ally you control, draw a card.
Yeah. So there's this theme in Blue Style about controlling only one ally and then bouncing that one ally in and out of play. There's a few effects. Like I know there's a physical block that if you control no allies, you get an ally.
Mm-hmm.
So if you only now that card's not good in an ally deck because chances are you're gonna have a ton of allies. You're not gonna have no allies. But in a deck that only plays one ally, that card could be amazing because you're either gonna have that ally in play or your opponent is gonna answer it. So, but yeah, so this is an extra layer for tag decks. Tag, if you're playing tag, the only thing the opponent is going to be able to do is dealing critical damage, banishing this, and then, well, unfortunate that once they can't crit the ally, right, with tag, so they'll have to crit, banish this, and then play a board control card.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, man, I look at this card and it makes me wish that Janemba had a good ally. Because being able to take that means they would have to kill the ally in their very first attack. Otherwise, you get tandem and your ally is safe. So maybe there's still something out there that synergizes with Janemba in a tag deck. But when I look at this card, that's immediately where my mind goes because it's you get it so fast.
Yeah. Yep. And then of course there's so many decks that kind of like to play a single ally. Like the first that comes to my mind is Vegeta Tag Team. That's a huge power deck, and the only problem with him is it's very stage intensive, and especially in Blue Style you kind of want to go for more of the life beats because Blue Style supports life beats a lot, and then it's just a lot of stage management costs, like a lot of stage cost. You have the ally to redirect damage, but only having one ally may limit you in that regard. But Briefs is amazing, drawing an extra card when entering combat. It's super strong. There's definitely potential there with this card, and you want to run Unleashed in Vegeta, especially if you're only running Briefs, right? I feel like there's two different ways you could play that deck. You could play hard ally. I'm gonna swarm the board, and then I'm not gonna level, and then I'm gonna use the +2 life cards to modify my allies' attacks and make them do extra damage, because that's great. And then there's another style of play that you can go, I'm going to level, and then you would probably you would go less on the allies because you need the space, right? So take out some of the allies, add in Unleash, play Blue Tandem, and run Briefs.
Yeah. Sounds solid. I think that SK would like this card too. Yeah, easier to keep your Kibito around.
Very
easy to search them. You get to search out Blue. You can search a tandem with Blue Terror. So I think there might be something there too.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, that is extremely strong. Oh wow.
Yeah, man.
So I wonder. Do you think that this is I don't know. Do you think that that's enough to get the SK decks to switch from protective, maybe even resolute, to tag?
I think so. I think that well, I don't know. It depends because if you don't draw the terror is obviously still one per deck. So you're still it's like having, I guess, 4 tandems in your deck essentially. But there's a lot of ways to get Capito back, even if they banish them. So yeah, I think that there's merit to the blue tag deck with SK for sure. The more that I think about it, because you won't be able to get rid of Capito. It'll be next to impossible.
Capito wins the game. I know that. Played against a lot of SK when he was real big in the meta. And people would ask me, they'd be like, how do you win? He's impossible. He's overpowered. How do you win? I would always tell people, first thing you got to do, got to kill Kibito. If you leave Kibito on the field, you lose. He's going to choose one of the bottom 3 cards to draw. It's way too powerful. Way too powerful.
Yeah, there may or may not be a blue SK deck sitting in my Octagon Dropbox.
Yeah, so a lot of potential. And I think there's we talk a lot about tag. You don't need to play this in tag. It works best in tag. because you're going to start the game with that single ally on the board, and then you get that layered crit protection. Because if you don't have tag, then they'll be able to crit this off and then crit the ally immediately. So that's a little bit, but so it works best in tag, but definitely has a place in other decks as well.
I think this is going to sound crazy. This is going to sound super nuts, but I think there's actually nobody's going to do it except me because I'm nuts. But like I would even consider this card in a deck that maybe doesn't run more than one ally, or maybe like isn't that dependent on having the ally. Like the draw card is huge in a blue deck because you have cards like blue positioning drill. Like it's very easy for the blue alien decks to stack the top of their deck, and then being able to just draw that card you stacked, I think is very, very, very good. So
there's a lot of strong one-off allies in the game right now. Plus, it's important to know, as we mentioned, but it does say your opponent's effects and not your opponent's card effects. So that's how you know that it affects critical damage effects. So that's great.
Yeah, man. I think that it's a good card.
Yep, for sure. Blue Dismissal. Oh, God, I love this card. This is like one of my favorite blue cards. Actually, this is not my favorite blue card of the set, but this is close. Love this card. This card is destroyed from your life deck. Rejuvenate it. Hey, common effect. We just had that effect. And stops physical attack. Name a card. Search your opponent's discard pile for a copy. Banish it. Traded Majin. Raise your anger 2. Oh, I just cannot stress how much I love this card. People were kind of hating on the trait, and they were saying, oh, why is this traded? Blue has bad anger. You're right, blue does have bad anger. And that's kind of by design because you have blue dominance. No other style has blue dominance. Blue dominance is 15 out of 10 card.
Yeah, people forget about it.
People forget how strong dominance is. You level and 2 drills. It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Man. Yeah, there are like so many toys to play with in this game now. Like you forget about the old cards that were good. And then like you don't play them, so you don't realize that, hey, is this card still good? But a lot of times, yeah, blue dominance is one of those cards that's still very, very good.
Blue dominance combos with anger. And that's what people need to think about too. If you're on level 1, and I have a nice strong Tapion build that I love. And you're on level 1, you trigger that level 1 power twice, or you trigger it once, and then you hit a nice quick strike up to 4 anger. Next turn, you drop the dominance in play. Oh, I'm level 2 with 4 anger. Oh, all of a sudden I'm level 3.
Happens fast.
A lot of people say blue decks can't level, but I feel like the people who say that aren't running 3 dominance. I don't know.
That's true. That's very true. Leveling is in Frank's cast they were talking a bunch about how they were trying to slow the game down, and I think that as they do that, the cards of old that will like jump you levels. I like there are people putting like over 9,000 in their decks now. Like you haven't seen that card since forever. But as you take away the power of the Unleashed and slow down the anger, how many anger are slapped on these new cards, you got to work with what you got, and you realize that you had these things all the time that are very good. So.
Yeah, they did talk a lot about the slowing down the game. I don't think the focus is slowing down the game so much as it is trying to make the game less swingy. And in that, you're slowing down the game. Like let's just take the Unleashed nerf. Unleashed is a card that weak MPs needed because they had weak level 1s and 2s, and they had stronger level 3s and 4s, and they wanted to get those to those upper levels. That's fine. But with strong personalities, they still had strong 3s and 4s. So it was just as good, if not better, in the strong personality decks as it was in the weak personality decks. So was it really helping? All it was doing was accelerating the game for all decks. And honestly, in my opinion, the stronger decks just used it better. Unleashed.
Yeah, if traits were around when Unleashed was released, then they could have slapped a trait or like an underdog tag on it, and it would have been fine probably. But we didn't have that back then, so
not very DBZ though, because Unleashed, you got your Gohan, you got your Goku, you got your Vegeta. They're unleashing their power. I always like you have 2 things. I'm big on thematic and show. Like you got your card game, and you want your game to function well. but you want to be DBZ too. You want to unleash your mystic form.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But
you do that by using the Premier Gohan and going from 1 to 4.
Yeah, it's just too ridiculous. Yeah, Unleashed it. The problem with Unleashed was it was a card that it was like a 20 out of 10 card. You can't tier 0 is not giving it enough justice. Being able to go from level 1, level 4, sometimes even on the first turn of the game.
Yeah, it warped the entire game. Like there hasn't been many cards that impacted the game like Unleashed did in the game's history.
Yeah, we're talking about a lot about Unleashed, but Blue Dismissal.
Blue Dismissal. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's a card.
I love it. Blue Deborah. Blue Boo. Blue. I'm Bobbity. Definitely has a place in blue.
Are you trying not to say Majin Vegeta?
Does Majin Vegeta play blue? I guess you could go resourceful. Guess you could go resourceful. Yeah.
Yeah.
He just doesn't. He's just so much better in red. Why would you play blue when you could play him in red?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know if that's 100% true.
I'm trying to think of a reason to play him in blue over red. Because in red, you got Escape, Resourceful Block, and just those two cards alone make Majin Vegeta.
Nah, dog. In blue, you have all the setup attacks. You got Lunge. You got Groove. What's that card called? Blue in the Groove or whatever. One that lets you go get like a card that attack. Tempo, that one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like chaining shit that you can do in blue that totally wrecks. So
maybe. I'll give you a strong maybe.
I'll send it back tennis style. You get a maybe 2.
I do love the little trick that they did here to name a card to get copy in the text box. Clever girl. I like it.
It's solid. It's a solid block.
Yeah, I think Deborah is going to be big with this one, and then just because he chains attacks for days and he loves to level, and then Boo as well, and then I'll throw in Majin Vegeta in there as well. But play him in red.
I'm not gonna. Okay. Be sad. You want to play hard mode? Play red.
All right, moving on here. This
Quick Strike
is my favorite blue card of the set right here.
You are drunk.
When I read this card, I was like, "Oh, this card's cool," and then I started slotting it in decks, and I'm like, "Holy crap, this is a strong card."
I will give that to you. I haven't played with it yet, so you would know better than me.
By
looking at it. So.
When I read it, it's like, oh yeah, okay, 5 damage. Oh, it's focused. That's good. This is I think on Frank's cast again, they compared this to they call this a blue Furious Lunge, like red Furious Lunge. Spot on comparison. The difference is this is so much better than Furious Lunge.
It's hard to block.
So much better. Not only is it harder to block, but you get that lower anger 1, and it's considered a copy attack, so it has extra combos. It does a little bit less damage, but the lower anger 1, the fact that it's considered copied, it does 5, so you can crit with it in Mimicry. So it'll chunk them 5 straight up.
That's what I wanted to ask you. What kind of deck were you playing it in?
Tapion and.
Was it Mimicry?
No. Resourceful.
Okay.
Resourceful Tapion and Resourceful Videl are both slotted this card right now. And I can't understate the 2 anger. It's because blue doesn't have it. Like as we were talking about the event that has the board control for black. And if you read that event, it's not a great card, but because black has no board control, it becomes so much better. Same exact for this. Blue just doesn't have that vanilla attack. That's an excellent source of anger, and this is that right here.
Did you mind very much it being a hit effect or no?
No, I don't think it's ever really been blocked. It's the 2 anger. There are other cards that you want to stop in blue. It doesn't do crazy damage. And no matter what, you still get the lower anger one. And it's focused. Right. I think people are really going to start to see how strong focused is as the game continues. There are just so many cards it gets around. So many.
The more I look at this card, the more I'm starting to think it's like sneaky good, because like only in Mimicry though, because in Mimicry, if you're playing a Mimicry deck that's pressuring their stages, essentially this is like almost like a Sinister Choke that you could just keep putting back in, just keep putting it back in.
Right,
and that seems really strong to me.
Dude, Sinister Choke. I mean, it doesn't go for the life; it goes for stages. So granted, but well,
if you're pressuring their stages, then
right,
you know.
Yep. And so, yeah, like you said, it like shove, not banish after use, hit 2 anger. It's just, I don't know, man. It's so strong. This is unprecedented in blue style. The hit 2 anger.
Yeah, it's crazy. You keep bringing up the that they're trying to give blue the anger it didn't have, and they're definitely doing that in this set, because it looks like they have anger slapped on 4 of the 5 blue cards in this set. So. Yeah, be onto something. It's almost like you know these guys. Or something.
So, like I said, when I first read, and I want to give that mention to people. Just when I first read it, I was on the fence about, like, I was like, oh, mid tier. But then when I started slotting into decks, like, now I'm trying to find more space for it. Like, I'm running 2 copies in my Resourceful decks right now. I think in Resourceful it is extremely strong, because Resourceful had the slime anger. You had it. You have the off balance punch and the stretch kick for the slime anger already. It just needed that little bit of extra anger to actually level, because you can let your stretch kick and your off balance punch sit on the board until your opponent blows all cards in his hand and doesn't have the anti-anger response. Like, you want to set, you like, everyone's so quick to say, oh, 2 anger doesn't matter because your opponent's just going to respond by lowering your anger. Well, yeah, if you're just blindly playing cards and you want to play solitaire, that's what's going to happen. But try to actually think about how to sequence your attacks properly and try to push advantage and level. This card becomes so much stronger with all that anger sitting on the board. You got what's it called? The freaking copy drill. The
recuperating drill.
Yeah, recuperating raises your anger when entering combat. There's a lot of subtle anger in blue that just needed that little bit, and this is it right here. It's been rounding my decks out so well.
Yeah, you're making me really like the idea of this card in Mimicry, and again, like we're starting to get a lot of anger on these blue cards, and they did this once before. I think it was like Perfection or like Vengeance Time. There were a bunch of blue cards that had like 2 anger printed on them. So like maybe people will go back to the well and start playing those cards, and now you have these sneaky blue anger decks that just come out of the woodwork. Really shake up the format.
There's one blue block that I read it and I want to put it in decks, but I haven't put it in yet. It's called Blue Safeguard.
Safeguard?
Oh, I knew it! I knew you were going to say that. That's so funny. All right, so we're laughing. Okay, Safeguard is stop a physical attack. If you have no anger, raise your anger too. It's so close to being good.
No, it's good.
It's okay. It's hard to sequence properly, but especially when it's on a block, it's hard to sequence.
Can you imagine a turn where like they attack, you have 0 anger, they attack you, you safeguard, you gain 2, and then like you dashing punch, you gain 1, and then you just play quick strike and level.
I'm saying, like, this card
that can happen
with decap. Oh, just that's what I'm saying. Like, all my blue deck, especially the Resourceful decks, are all running 3 decap. Like, you can't not, especially in Resourceful. And then this is sitting in my discard pile, just waiting for me to have 3 anger.
Yeah, dude. Especially if we got decap. Like, if they don't have a block, you can play this and then decap it, and that's 4 anger. Like, I don't know. I think there's merit.
So
I like this card.
This is my favorite. It wasn't when I first read all the cards, but then in playtesting, this is now my favorite blue card for sure.
It's still not the best. It's not the best, but I like it more than I did when we started.
Yeah. Next up here, blue energy resistance. Pretty vanilla. Stop an energy attack, raise your anger 1, lower your opponent's anger 2. Now, again, unprecedented. Not unprecedented, but the anger is very lacking in blue. There is an option for this already. I think it's called Blue Defensive Maneuver or something like that. Stops an energy, raise I think it's either raise or lower a player's anger 1 level or raise a player's anger 1 level. I think it might be raise or lower. And that only has one endurance, so you're getting an endurance upgrade for just the straight anger decks if you just want to replace that out. If you were running that, I did consider it in some lists. It's hard to slot. Like you always have blue guard is looming, right? You always kind of want to throw guard in a blue deck. So
I mean, not as much as you used to. I mean, the nerf did like kind of like make me not want to play it in all decks. But you're right. Like, if you have any kind of discard outlet from your mastery, you're probably gonna slot guard over this. But like, if you're an alien,
this has a lot of value, lots of value. It's really vanilla, but it does something that blue doesn't. Blue just doesn't have that many good options for anger raising. So there's not much to say.
Not much to say here, but like, like you got to be an alien in my opinion. Otherwise, you don't need this. There are better options.
Yep. Yeah. Unfortunate. It's just really vanilla. I want it. I'm complicated. I'm a complicated person. So I want this to be more.
You want to read the next blue complicated card? That's the best blue card we got this set.
Oh, this is arguably the best card in the set. Period.
Arguably, right? But it's not the best blue card. Arguably the best card in the set, not the best blue card.
I said that Quick Strike was my favorite. Or I think.
All right, man, you're a words lawyer, man. You're good. You're good. I can't get you.
All right, so Blue Energy Wave. This card, I can't speak higher than this card deserves. Like it, so powerful. And when people were asking to buff this card, I was just laughing reading the comments. Like, why doesn't it do 5 life cards? Why is it banished after? I'm like, oh. If this card is discarded from your hand by a mastery effect, you may banish it to search your life deck for a copy of this card and place it into your hand. Energy attack for 1, unpreventable, raise your anger 1. 4 life cards, hit, lower your anger, opponent's anger 1.
This card is sick and resolute. Absolutely insane.
This card is sick in so many blue decks. Like Resolute, yeah, that's obvious, but I think this card is just going to find places in so many decks.
All right, so let's give him some unique content, right? I want you to pick the best 2 decks, both MP and Mastery, for this card. Go ahead.
Well, I think Resolute Vegito is going to have a bomb, strong deck now. Like we are talking, this guy is going to come in hot. Okay, raise lots of anger. He's got Quick Strike now. Like, and I know that people are like, oh, Quick Strike, really? Dude, you got anger on this. You got anger on some other cards. Anger on his powers. It's going to be strong. You got the lifting drill, the mods on his powers, biting drill. This combo's with biting drill too. You got the hit lower 1 anger. There's so many little things. This card has layers. This card. All right, and then
you said Vegito Resolute, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the second deck?
Second, I think a lot of Mimicry decks are going to play this. Just across the board. I think Vegito Mimicry, I'm going to keep saying Vegito because he but he combos with discard effects. So you want...
That is good. Yep.
But he has the mod. Like, that's why I keep saying Vegito, because he's going to make this do 5 life cards. And I think that's the most important thing. Like, when people read this card, they say, 4, I wish it crit. And I'm like, well, yeah, make it crit. You have options. You have plenty of options to make this crit. Goku. I think we're going to see...
There you go. There you fucking go.
We're going to see a resurgence of Goku.
Exactly. Him being able to like get to 4, obviously it's not going to be as easy as it was before with the nerfs or whatever, but when he gets there and he has access to this card, AKs, you're not going to be, if you can't block him, you're going to die. Like once he gets there, you're dead if he's in blue. He's going to be able to push so much damage on you, and he's going to be able to keep doing it.
Yeah, you talk about like the level 4 loop, this is just going to take 7 off the top of the deck. Just I'm at a level 4. Do you have a block? You better. 7 off the top of your deck. Uh-oh.
Yeah, man. You could play 1, get it back, discard 1 to the mastery, go search another one, get a free card, and then throw a second one.
So like Vegito.
I don't want to talk about it no more.
Vegito is gonna, yeah, like you said, Vegito is gonna enter combat, trigger mastery. Let me prevent between 4 and 8 damage from your next attack, depending on what deck you're talking about. And then I'm not only am I gonna draw a card from mastery, I'm gonna draw a card from my power, and I'm gonna get another copy of Blue Wave. So I'm gonna start with 2 cards more than I started with, prevent damage from your attack, and have this bomb unpreventable energy that raises anger and lowers anger.
Shit. Like interactions like the one you just described is why you cannot play the older MPs anymore. Like if I sit down across from you with like Lord Slug and you do some shit like that, you just like plus like 3 actions on me and I'm just sitting there with no power and 3 cards in my hand, I'm not gonna be able to keep up with that kind of gas. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's tough. He's tough sometimes, Vegito.
Oh man. But you know what's funny about Vegito? Like I feel like we don't see him as much as we should, and I don't know why.
Same thing happened with Goku. Goku set 7, we saw nothing but Goku from set 7, 8, 9. It was all Goku, 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 Goku. And then as soon as some of the other MPs started to come out, then it's like, oh, forget about Goku anymore. It's all these other MPs. But Goku's just as strong. If you sit down and compare level for level with Vegito and Goku, it's very comparable. It's like the Vegito 2 is not good. It's not good.
He's not the best.
No,
he's not. But he's not bad either.
He's not bad.
Like
he's not good. I don't like 2. I get stuck there. I hate it.
I think he's fine. He's obviously not as good as the other levels, but like being able to like get some kind of value off your discards and still have an attack on that level that does significant damage, I think you can't underlook that.
Yeah, for sure. He's okay, but like then you compare him to Goku 2, and you see, okay, I can see this. Like Goku gets a +1 card, he has the +1/-1. Vegito has the +1 only on his energies. He has an attack that costs stages that could get you a drill. It's comparable. He's not running away with the game. Or he was when he released, but he was nerfed a few times. He's back.
Yeah, man. I just don't know. I don't understand why we don't see more of Vegito.
People are probably just tired of playing him.
I don't think he was ever that popular though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's my imagination.
I think
Blue as a whole.
I think it's probably because he's just not as strong. He had the orange deck. Here's the thing: when people think about MPs, they think about like either pre-nerf or like first release. So he had these crazy combos he was doing in the energetic deck, but those combos don't exist anymore. You can't do a lot of the things that you could do that you were doing previously because of the change to, what is it, sidestep? I think that was the big one.
Yep.
But so
how much does that really matter in the grand scheme of things? Honestly, it's minuscule if you ask me. But like I can see how that can turn like someone off to just playing the deck completely. When one of the things that it was just degenerate gets changed, you just automatically think, oh, this isn't good anymore.
If you're a power gamer, right? You're looking for that. You're looking for that OP-ness, and then when they nerf him down to reality, you got to find the next OP thing.
On to the next one.
All right, so blue energy. If this card was any better, it would just be stupid.
Yeah, this card's already out of this world.
Yep. But I would argue best card in the set, probably.
Yep. No comment.
So overall, blue, I put blue higher than black in this set. I think Blue Wave is better than the Diabolic Scheme. Diabolic Scheme is very strong. Do not get me wrong. I know it's strong. I think people are gonna like foam at the mouth at me saying that. I know it's strong. I know that when entering BST is strong, 100%. This card, the +1 with the unpreventable damage, and then the 2 anger swing. I don't know. I like this card better than that one.
You think that blue overall has better cards than black this set?
Yeah.
As a whole?
Yep.
I disagree. I respect your decision, but I disagree.
Hey, I like I said, Quick Strike, it snuck up on me. I thought it was mediocre, but I actually think it's like one of the best cards that blue got this set.
I can agree with that. Second best card. I think that only two of the 5 blue cards are like really, really like impressive. The other ones are like it's okay, but I think that as far as the black cards go, 4 out of 5.
Yeah, it's close. All right, moving on here. Oh, here we go, Wayne. It's your time to shine.
I don't have much to say. I honestly don't. But go ahead.
All right, Namekian Pose. We got, if this card is discarded from your hand by mastery, you may play it instead, and you're not. All right, I'm gonna say this.
Mm-hmm.
People are hating on Namekian. They're hating on it. Like this card is a good example of that. No one's talking about this card, and yes, this is not a card that is going to change Namekian. It's not a card that you're going to immediately slot 3 of. I would never slot 3 of this card in any deck.
Mm-hmm.
Because the power of it, the use when entering combat, choose up to 3 style cards in your discard pile and shuffle them into your life deck. That is so powerful. I just think of throwback cards. What is the card? Watching from Afar. That's what it is. From Score Z. Now, Watching from Afar was better because I'm pretty sure you use that outside of combat. So you could just pass and it was shuffle 4, I think. But Watching from Afar was banned in some renditions of the Dragon Ball Z card game. It was banned for a little while in I think Retro Z. And I think it was either limited in other formats, and it was errated to only styled cards because it was any card. And I think that, like, me knowing how powerful that card is, I know that this is at least a decent card. At least a decent card. Because it's the defense. That's what it is. You sit this card out, you play a defensive deck, they enter on you, you choose 3 cards that you want to draw on the defense, and you're like, okay, I'm going to choose hybrid, something else. And I'm going to shuffle those in and hopefully draw one of them.
Yeah, the thing I like most about this card is that in knowledge you get, no, you don't even, because knowledge is during combat when you shuffle. Yeah, nah, this card's doo-doo, dog.
I'm trying over here.
I feel you. Like, it's cool shuffling your deck, but like, there's Namekian. If there's one thing Namekian is not hurting for, it's ways to get cards from your discard pile back in your deck.
But shuffle though, when entering combat.
I mean, that means nothing if you don't draw them. So now you're talking about ratios. Like, if I got 40 cards in my deck and I shuffle 3 in, how much chance do I have of drawing one?
Yeah, and that's why I would never play 3 of this, because you never want to see this early.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't like it.
So, and the focus, making the next styled attack focused isn't crazy strong, but it does play. It does play itself. So it's just you're getting a free effect, and I think that's pretty good.
I feel like any card that's a setup or a drill that has the discard clause should be put into play. That's just where I'm at with it. If it doesn't do that, then I'm already looking at it crazy.
Yeah. I'd give this mid-tier. I think it's stronger than people are giving credit for. The shuffle 3 targeted when entering combat to like cycle through your deck and to make your draws better. That has value. There's value there for sure.
There's value in that, but like, come on, man. People actually listen to you. You can't say that. You got to say this card's low tier. Say it.
No.
This card's
Watching from Afar. I think this card. I'm telling you, it's just. Slotting this as a one of, and seeing it late game, you will be happy.
Okay.
We'll see. Hey, just give it time. Hey, let the cards be vetted. Hey, they'll be cards are like this right now. They're like this. They're flipping from one side to the other, and you just gotta resonate it. And just let it sink in and settle into its nestle into its natural spot, the spot that it's gonna go into. It'll.
Listen, Didier, you know that I like to take not popular Namekian cards and popularize them. And let me tell you, I don't know what I can do with this, but I admire your optimism.
I have optimism. I'm full of it.
I do. I see you.
All right, moving on here. Namekian Exertion Drill. If this card is discarded from your hand, you may place it into play. If this card is not...
There you go.
Hey, there it is again.
Put it in play. Get it out of there.
Not discarded when advancing a level. Power used after a Dragon Ball leaves. You own leaves play due to a mastery effect. Destroy the top 2 cards of your opponent's life deck. I think this is pretty decent.
It's decent until the last line. It's like, okay, put it into play. Okay, I'm with you. Okay, when a Dragon Ball leaves play, do something. Okay, what am I doing? Destroying the top 2 cards of their deck. That's not even good. 2's not even a lot.
You say that, and then you have Muck Drill.
Why do I want that? But that's insane. Where like damage is a lot more abundant and easy to come by. Like in the Namekian, I don't want to just do 2. I don't want that. I want more. I want more than 2. What's the right number? The right number is at least 3 or 4, probably 4 though. If I'm the Namekian.
All right, what's the mastery? Enlightened?
Yeah, dude, it's 1 stage and hand filter.
No, I'm thinking. Hold on, not Enlightened? What's the crappy one with the Earth Dragon Balls?
That's not crappy.
You know what I mean.
I'm about to fight you. You talk about Radiant like that.
Well, we did a whole thing about how the Earth Dragon Balls are bad, so I have to throw it back to Shane for that. Well, what is it called, dude? How could I not remember
Radiant.
this mastery?
It's Radiant.
Radiant, I knew that. All right, when is this activating? I'm looking this. When is this activating? Earth Dragon Ball 3. Oh, it's power. Search your life deck. Oh, you can't shuffle them in?
This ain't it, Chief. I'm telling you.
Where is there's a mastery? Oh no, it is Enlightened. I was thinking of Enlightened.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, at the start of your rejuvenation. That's what I was thinking of. Okay, so that's the deck that you use this in, Enlightened.
So what? I can passively do 2 damage to you?
Yeah, that is passive damage is very powerful. Yes.
I can't see someone trying to build a passive Enlightened deck. And I know people have tried, but they haven't had much success. Like,
I'm not saying build a passive deck. I'm saying passive damage is strong.
Okay, I agree with you. Passive damage is very strong, but like this is not the place for a passive card like this. Is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? If you put this card in a different style, I can rock with you. But there's no way for this card to gain anger. There's no way for this card to really help you. And I just hate that number 2. It's so easy for people to get 2 cards back in their deck. So easy. So it's almost like it happens by accident.
So I know this card I feel is its issue is that it's under designed because of how strong Dragon Balls are. Because Dragon Balls themselves are unbelievably powerful. Like we always think of Ball 7. That card it limits the power of Dragon Ball combo and control, because any Dragon Ball combo and control card that you make always needs to, like, you think about Hurried Quest. Hurried Quest is an amazing card.
It's amazing
because of Dragon Ball 7. Because you're gonna go, I'm gonna trigger 7, pop 7 in my hand, and use 7 again. It's so great. Or you could just do like 2 or something like that. So the power of like this card is under designed because Dragon Balls are so strong. So, and that's what I mean about the passive damage. So like, yeah, like I think about my Brawly Lockdown deck. So that's an aggro deck. Well, it's kind of mid-range, but it more leads towards aggro. But it has a lot of control in there as well, and it has Menace Loop. So I have these like 2 avenues of play. I'm going to go for your face. I'm going to punch you in the face as hard as I can. But if you disrupt me too much, I'm going to fall back on the Menace Loop. And that's what I feel like an Enlightened deck could do. Go hard. Go for your face, but if you get disrupted too much, all right, I'm going to fall back. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play Ball 7. I'm going to shuffle back into my life deck. I'm going to trigger this, mill another 2. Like, mill 3, mill another 2. I'm going to play it again, mill another 3. And I just think this card could... like I said, you're not going to build a passive deck. You're going to utilize and pressure your opponent and put them into a situation that they're making bad decisions then. They're going to enter on a hand that they're not going to like because you just milled them 5 cards and they're like, well, if I pass again, not only is it going to be a chance for him to play Ball 7 again, but then he's gonna mill me another 2.
I agree with almost everything you said, but the thing is that you can only do it once because this card, unfortunately, is only by mastery effect. If this card, well, first of all, let me speak about Menace a little bit. Menace is a little bit different. There's much higher of a value card because you can use that Menace multiple times in a turn. You can like how much? What's the most damage you ever done with Menace in a turn?
Oh,
You think?
probably about 15 or 20 damage in a single
15.
turn.
You cannot do that with this card. You can only do 2. But if you took out the clause by mastery effect, if it said every time a Dragon Ball leaves the field, mill your opponent 2. That's we're getting somewhere.
That's
now
insane,
if I'm playing,
dude.
Is it? Is it more insane than Menace?
What's Dende do again? Doesn't he banish all your Dragon Balls from play or something? Doesn't he have the EDQ? He has the EDQ card.
You mean the setup?
Yeah, doesn't that banish your Dragon Balls from play because you set them aside?
It takes all the Dragon Balls and banishes them. But
there
even
you
if
go.
that happens,
mill 14
how much do you lose?
Or whatever.
How much do you lose at most? If you have 7, you win.
I'm just saying.
Vegas. Even if you have 6, if it's best case scenario is still only 12, dog, and that's not as much as your.
It's too. I'm telling you,
So,
I think it's the passive power of this. Like, yes, you're right, but Menace can be disrupted. Like, I'm gonna Menace, you're gonna dev blow me and destroy my plan. With this, it's outside of combat. They literally cannot answer you. Your pressure, you're gonna push them into a corner that they have to respond. Like, they have no option. Whatever 3 they draw off the top, they're like, I have to go in, because otherwise he's gonna be doing 5 damage to me passively every turn, and I'm gonna just lose. So I think this drill's a lot stronger than people are giving credit for.
There's not. Well, it's not because it says mastery. If it didn't say mastery, then we have a whole conversation which we're getting into. But if it didn't say mastery, there's no way to degenerately use it outside of combat. Like
Enlightened mastery, man.
Yeah, but you can only do that once.
But that's all you need.
It's only 2. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But with ball 7, though, it's 5.
Yeah, and
it's
then you have
5.
to get. And then you have to. But okay, all right.
Hey, opinions. Everybody's got them.
I feel you, but like, I don't know. You can't, like, 5 passively is good, but you're not getting it over and over and over and over again. You're only getting that one time, and that's the best. That is the best case scenario. It's 5.
It's the pressure, though, right? So it's like a burden of knowledge, right, on your opponent. It's not necessarily that you're gonna draw the ball 7 next turn. You just shuffled it in, but you might. Mm-hmm. So then in their head, they're like, oh, fuck. What am I going to do about this? I can't let... If he mills me another 5 and puts another 3 on top, I lose. I have to enter combat.
They're not going to enter against you if you just ball 7. If you ball 7 like a sir.
If you're risking another 5 damage passively, I think, yeah. They have to. Opinions. Hey, this is why we have this cast. People have different opinions. I think this card definitely is stronger than people are considering, and it stays in play when you level. Even better. More toting that this card is going to go in an aggressive build, a build that you're going to be throwing a lot of attacks, and then you're just going to get that extra end game pressure at the end of the game. I'm already going hard at your face. I'm already going for survival victory. You only have 20 cards left. Now that you only have 20 cards left, this is when this drill shines. Oh, tick, you only have 18. Oh, ball 7, you only have 15. You know, tick, tick, tick down. Better start doing something or you're done.
Okay, yeah. I just wish if it didn't have the mastery clause, I'd be a lot more optimistic about it. But like, it does have that. It can do that at the end of the game. But like, I don't know how often you're going to get in a close game like that with an aggressive Namekian deck in Enlightened.
I'm gonna do it, man. I'll do it. I'll make that deck.
I'll be in the stands with the pom poms, dog. I'll be rooting for you.
All right, let's do it. Moving on here, Namekian regroup. This is the card that you previewed, so I'll just let you take it away.
Yeah. Okay. So use one Dragon Ball you control is captured. You can shuffle into your deck instead, and if you have one trait, you draw a card. I talked a lot about it when I wrote the article about it, but I played with it and very situational, more so than I thought. even in the dedicated Dragon Ball decks. Doesn't have any endurance, which is a little bit of a bummer. But in the decks that are Dragon Ball dedicated, you're running the cards that protect your Dragon Balls anyway. But like, someone said it on Retro, and it turns out that's how I was feeling. I just didn't know it. It's just that like you're sitting there waiting for them to capture a Dragon Ball, right? If you're the dedicated Dragon Ball deck, the problem is that it doesn't play well with everything else the deck is doing. The deck is protecting your Dragon Ball, so they can't take them anyway. So like it turns into a case where you draw when you do draw this card, you already have the protection going. Now this card does absolutely nothing for you because they're never going to take a Dragon Ball from you. And the only place that I think that you would play this card would be in the deck that's trying to utilize that heavy DBV. So it's like it's a clash of ideals. So where does that leave this card? Like you'd have to play it in like a type of deck, like a knowledge deck, that like it can happen, but like you're not really like pressed for it. And if you're doing that, then this card isn't as good as some of the other cards you could be playing.
Yeah, here's the thing. I'm almost right with you. I almost think that this card, because it's a cantrip, it can find itself, because I think you just made a great point with this card, is that in the heavy DBV decks, they have so many tools. I forget, there's at least 2 cards, or 1 card that I can think of. I remember the picture, not the name. When you banish it for endurance, they can't capture your Dragon Balls from main or combat.
Red Blast, yeah.
Yeah, so like there's effects like that. You're right. Why do I need a card like this when I have a ton of effects in my deck that prevent capturing anyway? But then that brings up the next point. Well, if it's not for that deck, well then what deck is it for? It's a cantrip. It can be played in an aggressive build. It can. Mm-hmm. And if you're playing an aggressive build, then chances are you don't have defense, and you don't have the ability to keep your Dragon Balls. So chances are they're going to take the Dragon Ball. And this could really help you combat that. So I don't know. Single trait, Piccolo, Nail, Kami. I don't know.
I think that if that comma at the end, after trait, was a period, and you just had the ability to play this card and draw a card, all right, now, okay, I'll sleeve it up. I'll give it the old college try. But without that, like you're leaning on your opponent first to hit you and crit you, and then decide to take your Dragon Ball, and then you have to have it. That's too much.
Well, they're taking the Dragon Ball. If you have a Dragon Ball in play, they're taking the Dragon Ball. So you can be, and if you're not playing the effects that protect them, that's going to happen more often. But no matter what, I would never play more than 2 of this card in any deck. Probably only 1, but I don't know. I'm thinking it might be more for aggressive builds than the defensive, because you made a good point.
A couple of the other Namekian decks will level on you. The knowledge decks will level on you. So like they're not always taking the ball. Sometimes they're going to create your anger. So I don't know.
Hey, Optic Blast can pretty much win a game, depending on what Dragon Ball you take. So. I mean, right here. It's a good answer to that. I know that because I play Conflict Vegeta with 3 Optic Blast. So, I like that. But all right. I agree with you though. I think this card is kind of underwhelming. It's just a tough slot. It's reactive. That's really the issue with this. It's just so reactive, and if you're putting it in an aggressive build, you don't want a reactive card in an aggressive build. You want to punch their face. But
you can have a reactive card, but the thing is, the reactive card actually has to have the ability also to do something proactive. That's why if you change that comma to a period, both of them.
Yeah. But I think something should be said that this is a very unique effect. That this effect doesn't really exist. It being a cantrip makes it good enough. So we might not see it slotted in decks, but I think the deck that does decide to use it, it's not going to be a bad add, just because, again, it's a cantrip. So you can always discard it for one of the discard masters.
It's a cantrip if.
Yeah.
If ... If you remove that if, then like we've been saying, then it changes everything. But like I agree with you.
Yep. So kind of underwhelming, unfortunately. Namekian Quick Catch. This is probably the worst card in the set. I'm sorry that this exists.
I just want more text. Like, at least, like, move the text down to make me feel like you're filling up the text box. Like, the text box just looks so empty.
This card is so bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's...
The thing I will say is that, like, when style blocks come out, you immediately, like, measure them up against the current block suite for that style. Like, we already know what the block suite's going to look like in orange if you're in orange. You know what the block suite's going to look like in black if you're in black and you're doing a certain thing. So, like, when they make these blocks, they have to be like, all right, well, we're making this block. Which deck is going to want this block more than the block that they're already playing that stops in energy? And for this, unfortunately, like, I think that it has the most use and probably knowledge just because of the reju effect, but, like, it's not better than any of the energy
resistance
blocks
or whatever it's called.
Like, come on, dog. What are the name of the set? The set ones that, like, shuffle in and
energy guard,
the top and the bottom.
Top
it's
and bottom.
not even better than that. Yeah, dude. No.
Yeah, you got energy guard, you got resistant. I think it's called resistance. The Rejuve 3.
What is that card called? Yeah, resistance. That's the physical one, right?
No, energy. Stop an energy. Rejuve 3. Banish after use.
Is that card called resistance?
I don't remember. Dude, the
name.
names of my cards have gone down. I can't remember that. I remember the picture. I remember the text. I do not remember the name.
Right. I never played that card because it's banished after use, so I don't know. I don't know shit about shit. But
I like that card.
You're right. This card's not better than any of those, and I guess that's my main point. Is like I wish that when they made these blocks, they looked at the suites that they already have an idea of where they want you to play the block. I just wish they like, all right, is anyone going to play this block over the blocks that already exist?
Yeah. So what this card needed to save it was this card needed to lower 2 anger on Rejuve, and it needed to have lower your anger 1 as an immediate effect. So that way, then this card then becomes, I'm not going to play this card when I want to push my strategy, but meta dependent, if anger is taking over in the meta, I'm going to slot 1 or 2 of these because based on the meta, I really need that extra anti-anger. But the anti-anger on this card, it's just not enough. Like you would need 3 of it, and best case scenario, you're rejuving all 3 of them to get lower your anger 3. Like what? Like it's just so bad. It's just so. I'm sorry. This card is a 2 out of 10.
Let me ask you this: What if this card had also the text rejuvenate after use? Does that change anything for you?
Yeah, because then in knowledge it would gain an anger, and at least it's then because then it's just better than it's just then that now you're talking power creep, because then it's just better than what's that one defensive posture. Stop an energy. It has no endurance. Rejuvenate after use. That saw a lot of play because you could. It was kind of like a cycled tutor with whatchamacallit. Overwhelming. What the hell is that card called? The Mill Dragon Ball. Search your life deck for an energy combat. Place it into your hand. Overtime. Right. So you could cycle it. So you could go overtime, mill a few, get an energy combat, get that energy block. Okay, block your energy, goes back into my deck, and then I could overtime again or whatever. Yeah, so
that doesn't seem too broke.
No, I'm saying defensive posture had a slot because of that interaction in knowledge decks, because you would get the anger, and then it was a self-rejuvenating block. This would, so if it had rejuvenate after use, yes, absolutely it would see play because it would be just a straight upgrade to defensive posture, and it didn't see play, but there is a knowledge deck. I actually played it in my knowledge nail deck because of that reason, because with the interaction with overtime and the self rejuvenation, I played a single copy of defensive posture because of that. So that I agree. Yes, if it had that, it would definitely see play because it would just be a power creep straight upgrade to that card.
Yeah, that would make this card super interesting. Like obviously, it would be like a no brainer in knowledge, but like even in like another type of Namekian deck, it having rejuvenate after use at least puts 2 endurance back in your deck.
Oh, plus it would be a 1/1. My bad. I didn't even think about that because it would rejuvenate itself, so it'd be +1 -1.
In knowledge, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, man, that would make this card like not. It wouldn't make it broken, but it would make it like it has a place somewhere. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, I agree. Yep. So anyway, kind of a missed opportunity there. Really, really bad card. Sorry.
Hey man, we just spent a long time talking about a bad card. Where else do you get this type of content?
RNG. So we talk about bad things. Tag Videl. uh, Namekian Scattershot next here. This card got so much hate, and I have no idea why. This is a double attack. If you control one or less Dragon Balls, remain one. If you have 2 or less traits, focused. It's 1 for 4.
Mm-hmm. The first version of it was bad.
Oh, what was the first version?
The first version, I think, only did 3 life cards.
Oh, yeah.
And it might have had a different Dragon Ball number. It might have been 2. I don't remember. But I know it did less damage. And Shane was playing it, and he was very unhappy that it only did 3. He was like, it feels worse than I thought it was. And I always thought it was bad. I was like, damn. But
what's worse than bad?
I have no idea. But I look at it and I'm like, well, it's a double attack. And, I always hold that to a higher value because at the end of the day, that's advantage in combat, action advantage in combat. I don't know. I don't know how good it is. I've never played it. But where I would want to play would be Radiant. And I think Radiant is one of those decks where I'm always going to have more than one Dragon Ball. So it's kind of like a combo. So I don't know how I feel about this card. I wish it said reduce somewhere. But,
yeah, I think this, it's not fire. It's not gonna change the game for Namekian, but there are decks out there that are gonna have modifiers and are gonna like this card. It's a double attack. I will seriously consider slotting that. 1 for 4 is great. 1 for 4 is so good. It really is.
1 for 4 is not great. Why is it great? 1 for 4 is not great.
Oh yeah, it is. 1 for 4. Blue Wave.
No. Blue Wave is unpreventable. Fucking discard, get another one. Gain an anger, lower your opponent's 1 on hit.
1 for 4 for a ratio is an excellent ratio. I think the Dragon Ball Z standard for an energy attack is either 2 for 4 or 2 for 5. 2 for 5 for a less powerful effect, and 2 for 4 for a strong effect. Orange Stare Down. 2 for 4, banish a board card, right? So I feel like 2 for 4 or 2 for 5 for an energy attack is standard. So if you're talking about 1 for 4, that ratio is amazing. Amazing ratio. 1 stage for 4 life card damage. Yeah?
I don't know. I don't think so, man. 1 for 4 doesn't feel good without either a bomb effect or some kind of damage mod somewhere.
Right. Oh, yeah, you want the damage mods.
Yeah, Stare Down is amazing because, just blowing up anything is cool. But, if it wasn't an orange where, it has access to all these other, damage modifiers, then we would probably not feel as good about it. It would kind of feel more like Blue Betrayal, which is better Betrayal. I don't know, man. I just wish that this card had a better effect. It's got dope art though. The art on it is sick.
I'm about to slot this card. I'm about to slot this in Nail.
You're gonna be sad. You're gonna be sad.
It's Nail level 3 not only can activate all portions of this card very easily, and you get the mod. So this is 1 for 7 twice. And you can search it with overtime. So I'm about to slot 1 or 2 of these in Nail and take it for a run.
Why would you play this card over what's that card from set 1? That's a double attack if you have more Dragon Balls.
Because Nail never has more Dragon Balls in play.
I feel you, but it lets you rejuve. That card is just strictly better.
You with Nail, you're going for the leaping kick anyway, so you're not going to have that many Dragon Balls in your deck. And then the Dragon Balls that you do have, you're going to probably bounce them into your hand with the power. Mm-hmm. So you're going to drop the 7 or drop the 3, and then your first action in combat is going to be, I'm going to 3 power, bounce my 3 to my hand, or bounce my 7 to my hand, and then either do some combo. You're either going to growth it back into play, or you're just going to play it next turn. So I don't know. Double attacks are very strong. Look at Red Shattering Leap. Look at how limited Red Shattering Leap is as a card, right? The damage potential. Let's not compare them. I get it. 1 for 4 versus 1 for 9. You can't compare the damage. All right, I got it. I got you. Mm-hmm. But this is an energy. It's going for straight for the life, and it's focused a lot of the time. All right, and it doesn't. How many times they stop Shattering Leap? A lot.
Yeah.
So I think this is not a 10 out of 10. It's not a 9 out of 10. It's not an 8 out of 10. I would say this is a 7 out of 10. I put this at a 7. 7 out of 10.
Let's see. I give it a 5.
5.
4.
4. Just because you just don't feel like Namekian has the mods to support it?
Like, Namekian does have some mods, but like, I look at this card. It's banish after use #1. That's already... I mean, it's double tack, but it's banish after use, and Namekian, that's a tick for me. It doesn't have endurance. That's also a tick for me. It discourages you from having Dragon Balls, which isn't a Namekian strategy, but I don't think it's the best one, so that's another tick for me. It's got dope art. I guess that's a positive tick, but that doesn't deal extra stages or life cards for me, so it's cheap.
Let me tell you, there is a Namekian deck out there that runs for days. There is enough cards in Namekian that are draw a card from the top, draw a card from the bottom, draw a card. Then you got all these double attacks. There is a Namekian deck out there that just like runs for days. Just like, I'm going to do 40 attacks. Not 40 attacks, but you get me.
It's Imposing Gohan, isn't it?
Oh, boy. But dude, he doesn't have one trait. He has 3 traits. This isn't focused. No.
That's what I mean. Like, when you get into like that type of stuff, like, I'm gonna chain these scatter shots, and it's gonna be dope. It's like, all right, well, I could just play all the Namekian cards that let me draw a card and do AT plus while I'm in F town all day, and I'm just smashing down. I'd rather do that than do this 4 twice for 2.
It really depends on the meta. When you have a lot of board control decks and control decks and ally control, it's really hard to get stage damage through. Like, you're preaching to the choir on that one. I pretty much solely play stage damage decks, and people take for granted how hard it is sometimes to push through with leveling effects and things like that. It's really hard to push damage sometimes. So
I'm with you. That's why I don't do it that often. I respect you though.
All right, so okay, we'll give it an okay. We'll do the average between us. We'll say it's a 6 out of 10. I give it a 7. Wade and get it a 5, then a 4. But
yeah.
All right, moving on. All right, so Namekian overall. I'm gonna put it underneath. So I put blue on top right now, black, then Namekian. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, Namekian's at the bottom. I don't think any of these cards will get played until more is revealed.
Get ready. I'm gonna break that drill. The mill 2, passive mill 2. You wait.
Wait.
Wayne's waiting at the bus stop right now for me to make a deck that doesn't exist. All right. Next up here, we got Orange Playtime. I'm gonna be mean for a second because I want to be. How many freaking single search effects are we gonna have in Orange for drills? How many we got? 3 different event ones, 3 different setup ones, 3 different drill ones. How many do you want? Like, you want every single card in your deck to just search a single drill. Like, I read this card and I'm like, why? Not even good or bad, just why?
Let me try to think of a reason. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you one reason. The when entering combat drill kill setup. I can't remember what it's called. The new one that came out. +1 damage. When entering combat, you trigger it to kill a setup or drill in play. So that combos nicely with this. It also combos with what the hell is that other one? Oh, the one that nukes when entering combat effects. So you can bring that in, and when entering combat, you can nuke your opponents when entering combat effect. So, okay.
Yeah, my beef with Orange having this many search effects is like, it's taken away the weakness that Orange has. Like, Orange gets its strength from its drills, right? That's no surprise to anybody. It's what makes it a good style. But the negative to doing that is that when you get entered on, you might draw drills and you might have to pay for it. But if you have all these tutors, as long as the game is like lasts a couple of turns, they're not going to be able to do that to you because you've been tutored all your drills out of your deck. Now they're all on the board, or they're in discard pile, or wherever. But it's not hurting you because they're not getting punished for drawing those cards when they get entered on. So that's my only beef. Like, they're able to search their deck so well that they don't get punished in combat, and I don't like that.
Well, this card doesn't help with that. So I'm going to counter you a little bit there because it is still 100% dead when drawn. It is only when entering combat, so it's not like if you can have some way to get this in play mid-combat, it's helping you. It truly is a dead card unless you play it passively on your turn.
No, it absolutely helps with that. Like, if you have this card out and they enter on you, you can remove a drill from your deck, right? Search the deck, yeah.
Right, but you're saying if they have it out. Like, so they've already played it on their turn. So the weakness of orange is going aggressive against them. But if you're giving them turns to play cards, then yeah. Yeah, so if they have this out, yes, it will help. But this is completely dead when drawn.
Right. No, I'm just talking in general. Like, they have so many tutors to, like, they minimize the chance of them getting entered on and them drawing their drills. And this card adds to that by adding another tutor, that they get. That's all I'm saying. I wasn't speaking about this card specifically. It's just, that's one thing that really grinds my gears about orange.
This does fill a hole that orange, I don't think, had the when entering combat trigger for a drill. Is interesting to me. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. I think this card is amazing in Tapion. Very, very strong. And in fact, I think there is a pretty bomb orange sword Tapion deck out there. Because there's that sick one drill, orange hoping drill, I think it's called. +1 every time you play a sword card, they mill a card. That drill has been sitting in orange style, waiting to be utilized by a strong orange sword deck, and this card getting aggressive sword drill when entering. Now, granted, you can't trigger the search, because you can't do it if you search your life deck. So that is a caveat there, but you'll still get to use it next turn. And just having the drill, the option to tutor for that is very strong.
I feel you.
Yeah, so I do see it for that. And like I said, it does combo with the 2 when entering combat drills. It fills a hole that orange didn't had. I'm just frustrated at this point that orange is it just seems like orange is just getting just so many different drill tutors. I just want to see something different. Just do something different, man. It's like good or bad, I don't care. I just don't.
It might be too late for that, man. Honestly, I don't know what they do. What do they do?
There are things you could do. You can cut.
What else does orange do?
You could no, there are different ways that you can combo with drills. You can use drills as a resource. I think there are some untapped potential with orange using drills as a resource, and then also red using anger as a resource, and black using banishment as a resource too. I think there are several resources in this game. Like there are options for each style to kind of have a unique resource. That they really it's sprinkled in the game already. Like we got the orange power rush card, so that uses drills as a resource pretty well, because it can get you a level and it's a decent card by itself. And then there are some others. So yeah, I think using drills as a resource. I'm just tired of seeing the vanilla tutor a drill effect in orange. There's like 90 of them already.
I agree. I think this card is probably, I want to give it a little bit higher than mid. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I can see why it exists. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, it does some things that didn't exist in the style. All right, moving on here. Orange Entanglement. Yep. So rejuvenate, check up replacement, rejuvenate 2, or if you got this bad boy in play this turn, you're gonna go fetch a defense. So, of course, this is nerfed because it had some nasty interaction with orange defense.
I mean, like, what haven't you already heard about this card, right?
Right.
People have talked about it at length. I'm glad Checkup's gone. I think that's the sentiment to pretty much everyone if you weren't playing orange. So I think that, we welcome this, in comparison to what was. So.
One thing I do want to say, I think people were undervaluing with the checkup nerf. A lot of people said that it was barely a change, and that is so far from true. So far from true. And I will prove how untrue it is with one simple statement. Previously, combative was going trigger mastery, checkup drill, get a block. Now combative has to go trigger mastery, get entanglement, sit there with my arms crossed and hope you don't have a board control card. Period. Like that's all I have. I don't need any other argument That argument alone shows you the vast difference. And any attack tutor, any of the extension, elbow strike or whatever it's called, PowerPoint, all of the attack drill tutors, you have to wait. You're not getting the immediate value. Yes, the defense drill tutors are better with entanglement drill, but you're still wasting an action.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I agree. Being able to interact with it is definitely a good thing.
Yeah. Huge nerf. Shopping drill, pretty simple change here. Honestly, just a needed change for the meta. It was unfair. And I think this came in. You saw in Score Z, my old veteran Dragon Ball Z players, Score Z, shutting off masteries was a very common thing. You had Power Beam, you had the alt Namek 7 that shut off masteries. Shutting off masteries was integrated into the game in that game. In this game, it doesn't exist. And there is no card that should have shut off a mastery, and it definitely should not have been an orange drill.
Where they could just tutor it to oblivion.
So it just shouldn't have existed in the form that it did. And anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, previously Shopping Drill said your opponent could not banish cards from discard piles, I think, just period. Mm-hmm. So it could not ban it, like Red Ruthless Mastery could not banish the card when entering combat to get the +2 stages. That interaction just shouldn't have existed. Period.
Definitely hurt those Ruthless physical beats decks, so I'm glad it's gone.
Yep. Moving on here, Orange Energy Rush, 1 for 3. If you perform another energy attack from your hand, search your life deck for a non-style drill and play it. This is extension for non-style drills for energy decks. I only see that, and it's crazy because I listened to Frank's cast and they said, I think someone said 20, and they're like, oh, but 20 won't play this card because he doesn't run that many energy attacks. Well, maybe the 20 deck when you had Retribution and you were playing in the Goku Unleashed meta, yeah, maybe that 20 deck didn't play. Like you did the Disruption drill, I think it's called Disruption, with Tank Barrage to get the 7 unpreventable straight to the life. Like, yeah, you're right. You didn't play that much energy attacks in that version of the deck. You could make a different version of the deck that utilizes this card, though. So don't count it out yet. It just came out.
Yeah, I know. I kind of disagree with the 20 take. I don't think 20 needs this. I think he has enough ways to get the drills out.
Definitely androids, though.
Yeah.
And also,
yeah, because go ahead.
Honestly, Supreme Kai. Yeah, I think Supreme Kai could get a lot of use out of this. Because I think Supreme Kai, a big problem with Supreme Kai was you always wanted android efficiency drill. Yeah. You always wanted that in play, like 100% of the time. You didn't even want to be in combat if that drill wasn't in play. And then this doesn't that do 5 then? I think it makes it do 5.
So if you perform another energy, yeah, this can go get the efficiency drill and it will do 5.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of potential here for this card. It's subtle, it's not amazing, but in the decks that's gonna run it, it's gonna be very strong.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have efficiency drill, then you're getting it with this card. And I think that if efficiency drill wasn't in this game, I don't think many people would play this card.
Yeah. I think efficiency drill is what takes this card, and android, just androids in general, getting android attack drill too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's also good
for sure. So android big. I think Supreme Kai has a use, and I do think there are 20. Well, all androids. Anyone who thinks efficiency drill is good will love this card. I think it's pretty good. Give it a solid out of 10.
I will mirror that. So solid out of 10.
This card, Orange Heatwave, I love this. This is my favorite orange card of the set. Besides the checkup nerf, which I am so happy was nerfed.
Okay.
But Orange Heatwave, 2 focus, raise your anger 1, 5 life cards. And then hit, you're going to search your discard pile for X style cards and rejuvenate them. X equals your anger level banish after use. I think this card is actually pretty bomb. Pretty bomb. Only certain decks, again, has to be an anger build. Has to be one that you're going to be pushing levels with anger, and probably one that you're going to more focus on. You're probably playing Palm Charge in that deck, because Palm Charge just takes this card and puts it even further to the other side. Like 1 for 6 focused. Whoo.
Yeah, he just takes that card and just does the Salt Nation on it.
And I'm telling the focused, this card is my example of a focused attack that has a great effect. You're gonna throw this for high damage. It does high damage, 5 life cards with no mods. All right, you're gonna make this do 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, focus, slam them in the face, get some anger, and then choose 2 or 3 cards to rejuvenate afterwards. And it's targeted rejuve. It's not even off. It's not even like random. It's targeted rejuve.
Yeah.
Very strong card.
Yeah, you love to see focus on cards that have hit effects. You know what I mean? Because like it gives them a little bit more chance to get through and actually get that juicy effect after the damage. So I like that combination. Anytime I see that combination, I like it.
Yep. So this is a card. I'm gonna say two of in the decks that want to run it. The anger energy beatdown builds. Great with the orange decap, because especially like I would say run this as a one of. Throw your orange decaps in there, and then at any point late game, when your anger lines up right, like you have 3 anger, you get the 4, and you get the 4 targeted rejuve on this guy. Oh, late game, putting 4 cards back into your deck.
After you do like the 7, 8, 9, like you said, that's like an 11, 12 card swing. So
really strong card.
Really good. Best case scenario, really good.
All right, so orange overall, what are we thinking?
I put it above Namekian, but still below black and below blue also.
Yeah.
So I got this right above Namekian.
I would agree. Yep, I think blue overall got better cards. I think orange Heat Wave is the unsung hero of orange. We had 2 kind of nerf / MRPs, so orange is it feels like orange didn't get much. Because they didn't.
Mm-hmm. They have everything already.
Yeah.
Sure. They don't need no.
All right, moving on to the one everyone wants to talk about, and that's Red Style. Oh, baby. Red Hustle. Mm-hmm. Look at the top 3 cards, villains only, and place them back in any order, and then you're going to banish 2 and draw a card. Whoo! This is interesting. And Go ahead.
Go ahead. My bad. No, you go.
Okay. So it's going to compete. It's going to compete with Red Relaxation. That's the first thing, because it's a draw. Like you have setups that draw a card, right? Because that's what you're getting with this card. Sure, you got the combos, and the banished combos are nice, but you're not always going to get them. They're not always going to line up, and you are taking 2 self damage for this. And I think that technically it's 3 damage if you compare it to Red Relaxation. Because Relaxation's drawn from the bottom, so you're not taking a card off your life deck. Whereas with this, you're banishing 2 and then drawing. It's almost as if you're doing 3 damage to yourself. So I think that's important to note with this card. It's kind of like a little, just something to consider. I'm not saying it makes it a bad card, because you do have combos that you can use with the banishment. Like you got the reverses, you got the disregards, and the panics. I think the deck that this is gonna shine and sing in is, of course, probably Red Control. But the problem is there Red Control for villains? What's the villain Red Control?
I don't know. I don't know if there is one that's really popular. What I will say is I don't think this card competes with Relaxation. I think Relaxation is a lot better than this card.
It is.
With that being said, I think that this card is still very strong. Just being able to basically do a ponder effect for those that play Magic out there is undeniably strong. Just being able to scope, your next play or your next block, I think is invaluable, and it also having endurance. That villain's only, man. I don't know why they keep doing it. This is the second card that's set. That's villains only. Is there any heroes only cards that's set? Aside from there's just the blocks.
Strike. Quick Strike. I love that card. Blue Quick Strike. Yeah, man. I love it. It did that need heroes only? Yeah. Honestly, giving that to Deborah with the block as well.
Yeah.
With the block with 2 anger and then the hit 2 anger, that might have been too much. So yeah, I can see that.
But this card's definitely strong, for sure.
Yeah, I think like in the aggro builds, they're gonna slot 3 relax before they even look at this card. Because you get the crit. That's the thing about relax, and it's when entering combat, and you can just do some nasty things with that crit when entering combat, and it gives you 2 stages. So you get a card, 2 stages, and a crit. This does 3 damage to yourself, and you're getting a card. So the only way
you choose the card though, that's big.
I'm sorry.
You get to choose the card.
That is a big point for sure. Yeah, so in my opinion, the decks that are gonna use this card are ones you have to combo with the banishment. You have to be playing the red panics. You have to be playing the disregards. You have to be playing the reverses. You have to even want to play this card.
Agreed.
I wanted to see you use a critical damage effect on this. I'll be honest with you. I wanted to see it because I knew that you were gonna have to make the comparison between red relaxation and this. And I felt the self damage. The self damage is gonna hurt, man. The 2 banish. The first time that a Dragon Ball deck reveals 2 Dragon Balls in another card with this red hustle, you're gonna hate yourself. The first time you're forced into a nasty 2 banish, you're gonna hate it, and you're gonna be like, why am I not playing red relaxation?
Yeah, I'm alright with them being 2 separate cards though. This and relax, like it's okay that this doesn't hustle doesn't have the crit. Like it doesn't really like. It'd be nice if it was there, but it doesn't need it. Like it's already doing a lot. If you ask me,
choosing the card is important. I will say that. This is another card also that will only get stronger as effects are printed that, and I'm sure they will. As effects are printed that activate when banished off of the life deck. This card has a really high ceiling because of that. So
I think this card's already amazing. I think that there would have to be like a direct synergy or some bomb ass card that gets banished off the top that comes out that would make this card go any higher. I think it's pretty much already in the stratosphere.
I don't think it's in the stratosphere. I think it's okay. If you combo with the banished cards, I think then it becomes pretty darn strong. If you're getting a reverse and 1 anger and 1 card, that is great. If you're just getting 1 card and doing 3 damage to yourself, because you're risking the defense too. Depending on what red deck you're playing. No, you're risking drawing it as the defender.
That's all setups though.
Right.
Don't do that.
But that's the game. That's the game that you play, right? Whenever you add a setup into your deck, you have to consider it being into your hand in combat. Is it good enough for you to risk it being in your hand in combat as a defender? I don't know.
I've already seen this card do some dirty things.
Dirty things.
He's a murderer. In case you haven't seen the news, he's a bad guy.
All right, so good card. Moving on here, Red Desire, limit 1 per deck. I can't believe it was even suggested that this card should not be limit 1 per deck. Search your life deck for
what?
Search your life deck for some people. I've heard it at least once or twice. Search your life deck for a styled attack card and place it on the top or bottom of your discard pile. Your opponent skips their next action. Draw a card. Oh. Very, very strong.
Oh man, yeah, man. I like this for Frieza. No, I love my boy Frieza, but just being able to, just go get. Man, I don't know. I love this card with Frieza.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think if there's some crazy combos you can do with this. Let me read a card real quick before I say something. Hold on. Because I think there may be like a weird interaction with this card. If I'm thinking in my head. Hold on, I gotta look up a card real quick.
I just like that it also goes and gets Static Shot. It just goes and gets Static Shot for you.
You can. I think you can do this. I think you can. Hold on. Trunk Slam. If you stopped an attack in your opponent's last action. So you could stop an attack and then desire slam. They skip their next action. So then their last action, you did stop an attack. So then you could slam out of combat. I think you can, because that's kind of crazy. Because
Saiyan Style, huh?
Yep. So people were saying, they were like, "Oh, would non-aliens play this?" There you go. I had to read that just to make sure. It says, yeah, if you stopped an attack on your opponent's last action, yeah, because they skipped their action, so their last action then would be the previous one.
Yeah.
Little funny things.
You always forget about those cards that are freestyle, but they like considered style. Like I always forget about them. Concussive strike is that way too. I don't think that's as good as the slam interaction that you just named.
Concussive though is very, very strong in Ruthless, because it enables your mastery. Then again, you have to use your mastery for this one.
Commanding too.
Yeah, for sure. Plus just the 2 cards back. But there's not much to say about this card. It does everything that you could want it to do. It literally will automatically be slotted in every Ruthless and Commanding alien, period. Like, there's no question. If you're not playing it, you're doing something wrong, because it does everything for you. And we just talked about once. I think this does have a place in other decks, non-alien, in very specific situations, because it gets anything. So.
Right. Like I said, it gets static shot. Like, that already is enough for it to be good.
Yep. So really good card, 10 out of 10. Just a huge boost for aliens and the consistency of Ruthless and Commanding. This is my favorite red. I can't. Should I call this my favorite red? Yes, I'm going to call this my favorite red card.
You should.
I am.
Don't do it.
I am.
Don't do it.
I'm doing it. This is my favorite red card of the set. Red Evasive Maneuver. Stops physical attack. You may search your banish zone for a style attack and place it on the top or bottom of your discard pile. Why is this my favorite red? Well, we just went over it. Trunk Slam.
Why is that? Trunk Slam, huh?
Yeah. It's crazy. It is crazy strong with Trunks. Trunks always played Interference, the energy block. Problem with Interference was it's an energy block and you're playing Red Ruthless. How often are they going to energy attack you? All my attacks are doing 9 or 10 damage. Chances are you're at 0. But Interference was always there for you if you need it. Now, Trunks, now you have 2 friends that are gonna get you slammed from the banish zone and let you control combat. It's so good. You're gonna have aggressive sword drill in play, and you're gonna do a Trunk Slam for 10 unpreventable. They're gonna pass, and you're gonna end combat. Trunks is coming back, people, with this card. And everyone else too. Like, everyone's gonna play this. This card is better in Trunks than it is with any other personality. And
now that I agree with.
Yes,
I agree, because if you're not Trunks, I think that Disregard is just better than this card. Because you can just banish the bottom 10 or manipulate the bottom 10 to how you want it. But in Trunks, he has that styled card. So Disregard also gives you the ability to gain anger from the discard pile potentially. So I put that one a little bit over this one if you're not Trunks. That's just me.
I almost completely agree with you, but I'm like 75% agreeing with you, because I didn't actually consider that before, but yeah, you make good points. I find that in my Red Ruthless Majin Vegeta, I don't really run this. I think I have it at 1 because I value Disregard. Disregard's at 3. Blocking Hands at 3. Disregard's at 3. I'm at 6 physical blocks already. Then I play 2 resourceful blocks, because resourceful block's just too good with the 2-to-1 interaction, and then some of the things you can do in upper levels too. And then it's like I'm at 8 physical blocks. Do I want to run 11 physical blocks or 10 physical blocks? So I think I have this at 1 right now in Majin Vegeta.
Yeah, Vegeta's got enough abilities where he can manage his discard pile where you can get it within the bottom 10.
Right. Exactly. But really, really good. Just consistency. Honestly, commanding needed this more than Ruthless. Ruthless was okay. Because Ruthless, you could just kind of wait, you know? You could just be like, all right, the top's not an attack. Just hit me once more so I can see what I get. Let me roll the dice. Let me play roulette one round.
Plus, there's a bunch of cards that put cards on the top of your discard pile when Ruthless came out before. So it's already got a ton of support.
Right.
So.
Yep, and of course, this card is way better with the, I'm assuming, next one. Yep, the next one we're previewing, which is the reason that Wayne told me to not say the last one was my favorite card in the set, which is Red Gambit. This card is so good. You cannot win by MPPV. Physical attack, raise your anger 3, damage 5 life or 5 stages, banish after use.
Good card, good. That's it. 3 anger.
It has layers.
That's it. No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
All right, it's just 3 anger, bro. 3 anger, get it done.
Let me tell you the layer of this card. All right. Okay. So one thing that I found is you always had this thing fighting in red with deck building. You wanted to either play heavy drill package or you wanted to play unleash package. And it was really hard to play both drill package, to go hard on the drills. And I don't mean just sprinkle drills. I mean full drill package, like, right punch, freezing beam, eight or 9 drills. All right. So to go hard on the drill package and then also have unleashed. And it was really hard to do that because you're talking about dedicating. It's so many dead cards then. So like, you drawing your attached card, you draw red Inferno. Who wants to draw red Inferno in combat? No one.
You let you draw?
It does let you draw, but
I don't mind it.
but then you're drawing your energy block.
Maybe.
I'm just saying you would prefer you prefer it to be something else, but I'm just saying. So it's really hard to find all the deck slots for that. I feel like what Red Gambit is going to do, and the reason that it's a style defining card, is because it's going to allow the decks that wanted to play the full drill package to still run a heavy leveling build. I think this card is such a huge boost to Amplified. It is a massive boost. Like, I cannot even begin to tell you. Like, Ruthless, yes, 100%. It's probably it's better in Ruthless than it is in anything else, period. But then right under Ruthless, I think is Amplified. I think Amplified, because it's the burst anger. Amplified always had a problem where it was like you use cards to gain 1 or 2 anger, and then your opponent would respond by lowering your anger, and you never felt like you were able to get that burst of stages and damage off of the mastery use. Well, this burst anger is going to allow you to do that in Amplified. And again, like I was saying, the drill. Like, you have the drill package in Amplified. You want to level because your mastery gives you anger, and the mastery allows you to keep drills when you level, so you want to level. But playing the full drill package and playing Unleash was just so hard. Red Gambit it's going in there hard.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I strongly disagree with the Amplified take, just because they have so much time to interact with it. Like, if you're at 1 anger and you play Gambit, you're at 4 now. They have, again, an option to lower your anger and make, because then you still have to do the ability for Amplified. So they really got 2 actions to really play with your anger. And as far as the drill goes, the drill thing is like, yeah, sure, you get to keep 1, but like, your game, I don't know.
I'm telling. I have we're talking about like Master Tinker here. Like, I got my monocle.
I'm trying to get there.
I got my monocle. I got my like little tools, and I'm picking up 1 card with a tweezer, and I'm putting it into the deck, and I'm telling you, it's the deck building space that this card opens up for the decks that wanted to level and play heavy planning. It's there for red for sure, because it needs no support. Unlike Unleash takes 6 slots. This takes 3. It's half.
100%. No, that makes 100% sense. I'm with you 100%.
And also, I saw Lambden post his builds. He was running Red Gambit in some of his MPPV builds because he played dual victory, going for survival secondary. And if he found, like, he would play 2 copies of Gambit, and he found that if he was like being stopped, like if he was like obviously not going to win by MPPV because heavy anti-anger or blue decks, play Red Gambit and actually still be able to level and push damage. I think this card has layers. It's only a few sentences, but in terms of deck building and what it does archetype wise for red, it's style. This is a style defining card, 100%.
Yeah. I like it. Does save a lot of deck space. You make a good point with the unleash argument there.
Yep.
So yeah, man, it's gonna be a card that stays around for a very long time. Red Gambit.
Moving on here, Red Quick Blast. When this card, I'm not crazy about that. When this card is performed from your discard pile, destroy an ally or attach card 1 for 4. Hey, there it is again. Raise your anger 1. This is the commanding red Forceful Strike that is so much worse than Forceful Strike. That's what it is. Because this hits. Yep. This hits 2 cards on the board that certain decks care about, but not everyone cares about. There are ally and attach cards. A lot of decks care about attach cards, but it's still more niche than setups and drills. Far more decks care about setups and drills than they care about ally and attach cards. It's not even, there's not even a comparison.
For sure. I mean, allies can be critted. They're easy to deal with if in like the right circumstance. So like if this said drill or setup, like you said, then this becomes like it has like so much more draw to it because those cards could be hard to deal with, especially drills because they'll stay around for the entire game. So you kind of wish that ally said drill. It's like the being played from the discard pile thing is cool, but that just feels like magical Christmas land when I look at the card. I feel like that's not going to happen very often.
Yeah, and the sad thing is it doesn't have endurance or banish after use, so you can't combo with the block that we just talked about. Yeah. So getting it to the bottom is very difficult.
Disregard.
You hope it's in the bottom 11.
Right. Exactly. I want to talk about how it's like a physical combat card that's an energy attack. Isn't that weird?
For what?
For Quick Blast. The card we're looking at.
It's energy combat.
It says physical combat.
I'm looking on the Dropbox. Got it open. Energy combat. I don't know. What are you looking at, bro? What? Where are you pulling these images from?
Dropbox. That's weird.
Dropbox. Energy combat. Who knows? You roll a dice when you play this card, and if it's even, you get energy combat, and it's odd, you get physical combat.
I'm done with this thing again. We can move on, but I just think that if it is, that's unique.
Now, I got no. My other problem with this card, Red was already good at dealing with attached cards, and this card is not good at dealing with attached cards.
But you know what? With Janemba running around, who knows? We might need all the help we can get nowadays.
Red Antidote.
Only time's gonna tell.
Red Antidote.
Exactly, but that Red Antidote falls into the same place as Namekian Regroup.
No way.
Red
Antidote can get you like 4 anger.
That's fine, but like you have to be running attach cards then in your deck. Are you doing that?
No, Janemba's definitely going to have that many attach cards on him. No?
Yeah, that's Janemba. And again, he's going to be running those attach cards to make use of the antidote. But if you're not Janemba and you're not running attach cards, are you going to sleeve up antidote?
Well, in certain metas. I'm pretty sure I ran antidote in my Red Garlic when I was big on Red Garlic because of Wall Breaker. I mean, it really just depends on the meta. If everyone is playing attach cards, then even if you're not playing attach cards, it's still a good ad. It's a lot of anger. I don't know.
I think there's other places to get it than play a card that could potentially be good.
It really depends, like I said, on the meta. But there's no other card in the game that can answer like 5 or 6 attached cards on the board than Antidote. Yeah, you refreshed?
Good job, guys. Nah, it's just like an earlier version of the card, I guess. I downloaded the Dropbox like a while ago. Like when the whole set was released, I downloaded the Dropbox, and I guess it was a typo back then. So
All right.
my bad.
Moving on here. Final thoughts on red. Probably the best. Yeah, top. Red Gambit, Evasive Maneuver.
You look at it, what you like? You probably like 4 of the 5 cards. I'm crazy about 3 of them. Still got black being better.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about Hustle. Desire is just obvious. Like if you don't like, it's just obvious. You can't not like that card.
Mm-hmm.
And evasive Maneuver and Gambit to me are like 11 out of 10s. Like their style. These are 2 style defining cards that we got in this set.
This maneuver is okay. I don't know if I'm ready to call it style defining.
Trunks,
Gambit,
man.
Yes. I understand.
Just wait.
Trunks defining card.
Just wait. Wait for all the red Ruthless Trunks. All right, moving on here to Saiyan. Saiyan is interesting this set. A lot of hidden dynamic support, starting off with here with Saiyan Quest. Limit 1 per deck. If your MP's level 2, search your life deck for a Dragon Ball and play it.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I'm going to let you take this one. What do you think of this one?
Reminds me of that deck that I forget who piloted. Who made that like dynamic Goku ball deck back in the day?
That I don't know who made it. That deck had been around as soon as Awakening came out.
Yeah, like that's what this like card like reminds me of, and it's got Goku on it too. So it's like telling me like just play dynamic Goku ball.
I'm pretty sure Phil was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he advocated that deck very early on in the beginning. He always advocated that deck. So
yeah, I don't know if you can do that now, but I like it. I like the idea of having like a dynamic deck and just having access to being able to use a ball ability out of nowhere. Like, cause that's something that's like not even on your opponent's radar if you're a dynamic Saiyan deck. It's like, ooh, like here's ball 3, deal with it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think this card is going to open up the possibility for Camp 2 decks, because I think most dynamic decks of today and of yesteryear, they want to level. Like, they want to get to the 4. But I think the cards that came out in this set, and this card specifically, is going to say, hey, maybe don't level. Maybe just stay on level 2.
Yeah. I don't know. Which ball do you think you get the most value out of with this card in the same deck?
3 or 2 or 4. Like a 4 could devastate someone.
Yeah, I really like 4. I really like the idea of 4.
I would. You could save this card in your hand and a combat 7. That'd be good too, especially if it's going into your turn.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely not like open 7 though. That'd be really dumb. Like first action in combat, go get 7 and just play it.
I can see like a ball 2 play is good here, especially since like there's so much new Saiyan support that keeps you on the level. It's like a distortion drill. That's that card from like a couple sets ago. Vegeta on it. I forget what it's called.
Right, yeah, the
that
drill. I can't remember. Yep, so can't lower. Cool. And then of course you have Tracking Blast as well. And there's another drill that you can't lower too. I think it came out in this set actually. But yeah, you have some options here, and I think this is going to create different decks. I really like the dynamic Draku. They go to 4, and it's a different deck. I feel it's not really a Dragon Ball deck. The old dynamic Goku decks. I think you can build it as Dragon Ball, and I think it can Dragon Ball Victory, but I wouldn't call it a Dragon Ball deck because it mainly beats your face. It mainly kills you from damage. And I'm sorry, but I can't call you a Dragon Ball deck if you're doing 9 life card unpreventable attacks to me.
I'm sure you can, bro. I don't know. I believe in a 50-50 split, but they're not common, like you said. Obviously, like normally you're leaning on one side of the fence or the other one, but like I don't know, man. Goku's already got Goku Search, so like adding this and Radar, it's like 4 searches in your deck with the ability to do damage if you wanted to. Like I like that flexibility, and I like DBV as like a win condition, just because like it punishes the decks that are like super aggressive, and I'm always for that. So
I think this card specifically is going to open up a control Saiyan Dragon Ball build. I think that's what it's going to do.
That'll be really cool.
Trunks sitting on that level 2 with the crits. That's going to be big, I feel. With the physical block, really strong for a control Dragon Ball build. I'm making that deck. That's definitely a deck. And then
having that crit and defense is very good.
Right, and then the defense, and also I feel like dynamic draw coup. Like traditionally, those are played unleashed and you level. We could see a slower camp 2 draw coup, and just go.
It also has a crit, right?
It has a crit, right? Exactly. Yep. Definitely could see it, and I think a lot of people were saying Brawly's not going to play this. Okay, a lot of people were maybe Raditz, going for the control. A lot of people were saying Brawly's not going to play this. What people need to understand is that level 2 restriction is big. Okay, your opponent's going to be de-leveling you, or trying to, lowering your anger. If you're not dynamic and you're not starting on level 2, you should not the. It's hard to play this card. I think once people start slotting it and see how difficult it is to be on a specific level, they'll start taking it out of decks, non-dynamic.
Maybe. I can see it going in a bunch of oppressive decks, just because like it gives you the ability to either gain that anger or gain the stages, and when you get to 2, you can stop gaining the anger and start gaining the stages. So I think that's the possibility that people might find themselves doing.
Yeah, I could see that. Yep, moving on here. Like oh no, something went wrong.
I got you. Saiyan Avoidance. This is a physical block with 1 endurance with a clause on it that says this card's endurance is considered to be 5 for your card effects. Stops a physical attack. You may discard a card from your hand. If you do, draw a card. So you got a little bit of hand filter on a block, which doesn't exist, I don't think, in Saiyan. I really like this card. I like any Saiyan effect that gives me the ability to discard a card, because I love utilizing Inspection Drill. That is like one of my favorite Saiyan drills. Like being able to either enter, use OP, discard it to draw another card and get some hand advantage. Obviously, this card we just talked about, you'll get 2 cards off the draw. You can Transformation Drill, balance your whole board, and then if you're entering combat later, you can discard the Inspection Drill again. Like, I just love any Saiyan card that lets me discard, and this card lets me do that, so I think this card is dope.
Yep, I'm seeing this. To me, this is, yeah, you hit the nail on the head so hard with what you just said, because the rampaging decks are gonna love this, not just for the endurance, like for the, hey, I'm gonna pitch this and do 6 damage or whatever. It mainly for the draw discard. They're going to be able to more utilize their Inspection Drills, because you already kind of wanted to run Inspection Drill in that deck. So you just have another way of doing that. And then just the cycling in general. Oh, I'm going to trade a block for this other attack that's going to get me anger. Hey, that's the last anger I needed to win the game.
Right.
So, and I think this is more support for Dragon Ball decks. Again, draw, discard, discard, draw.
A little bit of filter.
Yeah, filter for the Dragon Ball decks. You're going to be playing heavy planning. You're going to be playing Dragon Balls. It's great filtering.
Keep digging deep.
And Saiyan drill builds too. I think this card it's going to see. Saiyan was looking for another good physical block. They have anger physical blocks. Yeah, they have anger physical blocks, but they don't have physical blocks that have good effects that are versatile. Because you got the skip block, which is kind of like an anger physical block. It helps you with tempo a little bit. Some decks don't like it. And then you have the arm catch, which is just vanilla 1 anger. And then you have some others that you could play. Like there's the new one, resistance for anger. But again, if you don't like anger, it's just not helping you. But this is a generic universal effect that everyone can use. And especially in like menace decks, it's something to be said. The menace decks love the hand filtering, because when you draw menace, it's so bad. You just want the menace in your discard pile. And so just being able to discard the menace from your hand, massively powerful effect.
Right.
Really, really good card.
Love it. Love it.
Oh boy, Saiyan Punishing Blow. So sad. I know. Rip. It's not even Rip Clench. Clench is still here, boys. We got this. All right, physical attack. Raise your anger 1. If you are an underdog, 500,000 or less on level 4, your next attack you perform this combat that doesn't have AT has its base damage doubled. Obviously not stacking with Clench. No, you can't double. This isn't Doublemint Gum. You can't double. You're going to eat both Twix and like it. All right. You're not doubling this. All right. But I'm sorry about Clench. That's all I'll say.
I'm not. You know what? I was, but the more I thought about it, like, it's not hard for Saiyan to attack a card.
Right.
It's not. They have so many like tutors for it. Like if Saiyan Clench wasn't restricted, I probably still wouldn't be running all 3. I'd be running probably 1 or 2. It's because you got your body blows. You have what is it? Recruit. What is it? There's another card.
Recruit. Oh yeah, it's like recruitment or something like that. It has Vegeta on it. It's the fan made card. The winner card.
Like, there's so many ways to get Clench. Like if they remove it, all right, that's a bummer. But like Saiyan already has rescue, so if they don't banish it, you could probably get it back again. Like I don't know why everyone's acting like it's banned. It's not banned. It's just restricted, and there's several ways to tutor it. So
I think the reason it was restricted is simple, and I actually disagree with you on that you wouldn't play 3 Clench. I think you should always just play 3 Clench if you're playing a Clench deck. Well, not anymore because you can only play 1. The problem with the Clench decks was you get pretty much guaranteed you always got Clench first turn every game. You had Clench on you in the beginning of the game. All right, there's no question. The problem was when you actually try to answer it, you could never answer it. You could just because they'll just play another one. So there was just no counterplay. Does that
have a destroy clause on it?
No.
I can't remember. Yeah, man. Like
that's what I'm saying. There was no counterplay to Clench. So when they got Clench on, they would just throw bomb. Everything from their hand was doing higher than 10 damage. Like it was like 10, 15, 20 damage, everything. And you were either blocking everything or you were just dying. And it just, the swing of it just felt bad. There was no counterplay. There was just no way to fight against it. You were either drawing the blocks you need to block these ridiculous attacks being thrown at you, or you were dying. Like that was it.
I can't see you not finding it. If you're maxing out on your like search for attach cards, I can't see you not getting it.
Right. So you're still gonna always get it because you still have all the searches. So you're still always gonna get that first copy on you. You're gonna be able to throw a few attacks before they answer it, and then the red decks that are running Mule Kick, and the Trunks decks and the Boo decks, they're gonna have an answer. So like there will be some answers in the meta that will be able to check the Clench decks.
There's not enough of those decks for me to feel sympathy. Yeah, any of them, Boo, Trunks, decks that run Mule Kick, like there's not a lot of them.
Yeah.
So like I still think you'll be able to do it at a high percentage.
Yeah.
Without interruption.
It's just there is a path of an answer now. That's the difference. The deck is not dead. You still have Clench. You're still going to get it first turn every game. It's just there is a path now to play. Like, this is how I need to play against Clench versus before it was, I hope I draw blocks.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And so this is like a nice little sprinkle for Clench decks to say, hey, I'm sorry, bro. Here's a little bit.
Yeah, and you get this, like, I don't know. Because it's like you said, you might not get it the first turn, but you'll definitely get it second and third turn, and these punishing blows will just hold you over until you get it. So, like, you'll always have the effect between this and the searches and the one Clench. I think you'll be okay. Yeah,
and it's solid. 6, raise your anger, 1/2 endurance. It's a good vanilla attack with a nice immediate effect. So it's solid.
Yeah, 100%. They'll be fine. They'll realize that.
Moving on here, Saiyan Energy Repulse, more dynamic support. This, to me, like the ball tutor, you could argue, could go in non-dynamic decks, I think. Like, you made a good point about oppressive. You definitely could. You could work it in. This, I feel, only dynamic or only decks that are just hard camp 2. It's just, it's not, a single prevention effect is bad for a block. The remain 1 is excellent, but you're only going to get it if you're 2 traded or less and level 2. It has 2 layers of ifs. So no Gohan, and you have to be level 2.
That was my question. I was like, this is like very heavy restriction on this. I was like, who are they trying to keep this from? I guess Gohan and Cell.
Yeah, well, Gohan. Cell doesn't really have a tier 1 build right now, I don't think. If he might have a tier 1, he might have a couple, or at least close. I hate when people say tier 1.5. I'm not going to use that. But I would say Cell is close because he's so powerful, but I'm not sure if he has a tier 1 build.
Yeah, not me neither. I haven't played Cell in a very long time, so I have no idea. Especially Saiyan. Jesus.
Yeah, but Gohan's running rampant. Obviously, we don't want to give more support to Gohan. It's sad that Goku gets this, but again, you have to be level 2.
Broly gets this.
Yeah, but you have to be level 2. And I think that restriction on it, it's going to be great for dynamic camp decks, but other than that, the condition is just not worth the risk of not being level 2, in my opinion.
Okay. Makes a lot of sense, too.
Yep, so, decent card.
Indeed. Focus Blast, oh boy.
Yeah, same Focus Blast. This card makes me sad because I loved it so much, and then they took away my favorite part of it, which was the rejuvenation. So it's a 2 for 5 focused. If your MP is level 2, unpreventable. Whenever you would gain anger this combat, you may gain 3 stages instead. It used to rejuvenate instead also. I'm sure there was some fear there of Menace Loop. I think it was mainly Menace Loop. Menace can get kind of nutty, especially if you're weaving in attacks in and out. Like I said, my maximum, I've done like 15 or 20 Menace damage in a single combat. This card would just push that into the stratosphere, being able to do that. So I think that was the fear there, removing the rejuvenation.
Yeah, man, this card is just undeniably powerful. And what's interesting about Saiyan that I wish more styles had is that like it's getting a bunch of like cards that are just like finisher cards. Like this card, if you draw it like mid game or end of the game, it will end the game. And not every style has that, and I kind of wish they did. Like blue has them, orange has them, red has them. I guess only black doesn't have them. Black and Namekian. They don't have that one card that they just play it and then you're in trouble. Like in red, you have your static shots. In blue, they gave blue a static shot. They just gave blue energy wave. It's saying they have a desperate blast and this and
turning kick.
All these other turning kick. Like there's so many finisher cards in these other styles, but Namekian can't get one and black can't get one, and I don't know why. Give black a static shot. Come on, Joey.
Black reflection and play their static shot. There's your finisher.
No one wants to do that. Come on, man. I'm helping here. I tried to give him a
It's counter ball. That's what we were thinking of before. The energy combat plus counter ball. Mm-hmm. So there you go. There's your finisher.
Was it types or was it?
It's the energy combats. +1 life card for every energy combat up to a max of 10. There you go. There's your finisher. Set 2. Do it up. No, it's a bad card.
Preventable damage. I need it. I need that. And they won't give it to me.
No, but you're right. This is a dynamic card. Again, dynamic. Just straight up dynamic support. And I think this card is good enough to make you want to play dynamic. Like you're saying, lots of finishers, and this is a great example. Focused and unpreventable. It's almost another AK. Like,
yep.
It's pretty much another AK. Pretty much.
Yeah. You can block it.
Yeah, I will. +1 life card. It's like you're trading 1 life card for like completely unblockable versus just focused. And
yeah,
that's good. I like it. I think it's really strong. And I think these cards are good enough. The ball search, the block, and this unpreventable attack. Like you add the turning kicks in there, you add the desperation blast in there. If you're a ball deck, who cares about mill and 3? Who cares about mill and 3? Exactly. You're a ball deck.
And your attacks are so powerful and unpreventable that if you want to turn a corner and you're like, I'm actually going to go for the survival. You have the weapons to do it. Like, like looking at this card again makes me think, all right, the obvious answer for the dynamic deck is Goku. Because you have the crit, you have the +1 card mod that's gonna make this do 6 unpreventable focus. Like it just makes it all the arrows point straight to Goku for me.
Yep, and then again, this does fill a big hole for dynamic as well, because dynamic's big problem. Yeah, you set to 2, but then your mastery's blank pretty much for the remainder of combat, for the remainder of the game. It in fact hurts you because of the 6 anger. So for something like this, and I think, oh no, it won't, because it has anger in the text box. Because I think dynamic is when all your attacks that don't have anger in the text box gain raise your anger 1 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this won't gain that, but again, with the dynamic, like setting to 2, you need the stage gain. You're not leveling, and you don't have the stage gain that the oppressive decks have, and yeah, the stage gain with this is going to be big, because you're pretty much like stuck at 2 for the game if that's how you're building your deck. So the extra stage gain will help a lot.
Yeah, man. I think this is definitely Saiyan's best card. I really like Avoidance, and Quest is cool, but this card is just undeniable power. And that's another thing I was saying. I forget who I was telling. I was like, every style, aside from, I guess, Namekian, and sometimes Black too, like every set, you get that one card in the style that you look at and be like, that card's powerful. I don't need to test it. I don't need to theory craft it. You look at that card, you know it's powerful. You look at Red Gambit, you know that card's good. You don't have to test it. You don't have to run it through a blender or through any. You just know it's powerful. Like Blue Static Blast, you know it's powerful. Black doesn't really get those cards where you're like, that's an undeniably amazing Black card. You know what I mean? Namekian either. You always gotta like jump through some kind of hoop or be like, ooh, I found the perfect card that makes this card good. That card is not just good by itself.
That's just how
Am
the
I off on
styles
that, you
are.
think?
I feel like that's
Or is
just
it
how the styles are.
just Black and Namekian are just shittier styles?
No. It's not that they're shitty. It's that their power is not obvious. Like let's just use Black Declaration for an example. That card, like you read it and you're like, whatever. But then you realize, oh, I can shuffle in my own ball 7 and then radar it back in play. Oh, I can wait to the end of combat and then shuffle in my own ball 7. And then like so it's just the style is layered. Like you need to have several interactions align in a certain way for you to see the true power of the deck. Or just cards themselves are not only good when used with other cards. A lot of cards are like that. I just feel like that's how the style is.
That's like what you just described, though. It's like you need, if in order for Black deck to be good, it's got to have something to work with or have a target. Like the cards that I'm talking about don't need no additional assembly required, bro. Like the Static Shock is going to do damage, it's going to do crit, gain you anger, and all your other styles are, no endurance. Blue Static Shock, Blue Static Blast, same way. Uh, the same cards that we just talked about. Like all of these styles have these amazing cards from an Orange Fierce Attack. Like they all exist in these other styles that just like, all right, for this combat, you're gonna fuck them up because of me, because I'm the card that lets you fuck them up. And I think Black doesn't have that, Namekian doesn't have that, and I don't know why they can't get that throughout the course of this whole game's history.
Well, the when entering BST is on that level in my opinion. So there's something.
That card is on the level of the static attacks and the fierce attacks and all those other attacks.
Yeah, I would put it. Yeah, I would put it on a similar level. Yes.
I can't wait to ask Retro.
They can't. You can't respond. That's the difference. You have no. I could just block your static blast and then end combat. You cannot respond to that when entering combat. Black searching technique. You have no response. Unless you're orange and you play that imposter drill or whatever, imposing drill.
I can't wait to see what people say.
Well, just put any one of my opinions on Retro if you want to see flames.
You're so stupid.
DDA thinks this. Well, I disagree.
You're so dumb. All right, bro.
But okay, so I think the big point with this card is the dynamic deck that plays it. You got 3 chokes, 3 turning kicks, 3 desperation blasts, and 3 focus blasts. Literally everything you have is just straight fire, unpreventable off the top of the life.
Don't forget the AKs. You got
and the AKs. Yeah, AKs too.
You know what I mean? Fucking Saiyan's got like 7 of those attacks that'll just rock your shit. And Black only has one.
Hey, you can play AK. It's just bad in black, depending.
Okay. Look at DDA. Look at DDA over here bad mouthing Black Style in the month of February. Look at you.
I love black style.
Shame on you.
I love
Shame
black
on you.
style.
Well, damn it, give me a static attack. Give me one.
Gut crush.
I need it.
That came out in like set 10 or
What's
whatever.
The next card? What's the next card? I'm done with you.
Heroic Resistance is a physical block that's interesting because it rejuvenates one, and you get to banish a card from your hand and tutor a styled defense card from your discard pile into your hand.
Let's jumble these attacks. Let's jumble, what is it? This the Heroic Resistance and the Malefic Energy Shield.
And the Malefic Energy Shield. Yeah, they're mirrored, right? The villain's version is same thing, banish a card, get a defense, and then you mill a card. You destroy the top card of your opponent's deck. I love Malefic Energy. I love both of them. Malefic Energy Shield. There's combos. Wheelo. Get ready, people. Wheelo's coming back. I'm going to be level 4 Wheelo. I'm going to drop down Malefic Energy Shield. You're going to mill 3. I'm going to rejuvenate 2. Then I'm going to tutor another block. It's going to happen. I'm going to wait for it.
That's great. I tend to like the Energy Shield better because I feel like the energy blocks are a little bit more attractive to get back. Like getting like a red sacrifice and commanding is like super good with this because you can Energy Shield, get the sacrifice, discard to the commanding mastery, gain 2 anger, and then if the bottom card has anger 2, that's a 3 anger swing. That's amazing to me.
Yeah, and then the resistance, there's a lot of combos with rejuvenation. Namekian, you can go grab hybrid because it can stop a physical attack. And then you can go grab, you can go grab power lift if you want in fucking Ruthless.
Oh shit.
That's funny, right?
Hey, shield? Does it have a shield?
Oh, it doesn't have a shield. My bad. No, you can't. Never mind. I'm speaking out of an orifice that I shouldn't be speaking out of. But no, the rejuvenation, I think the minor effect on these blocks is kind of just a nice little. It defines the block for me. I'll be honest, there's so many triggers you can get off of this rejuvenation. In blue style, in Saiyan, I'm putting Heroic Resistance in all my waiting control decks. It's going in all my waiting control decks because I can trigger waiting with that rejuvenation. Plus banish an ally, right? Banish an ally from your hand.
Yeah, it's really good in blue, like with tag, especially if you have the new duality drill, it triggers that. If you don't have an ally banish, so that's cool. I think that there's a place that it's funny because these cards, you look at them and they look very, very powerful, but at the same time, they won't go in every deck just because every deck doesn't want them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's funny. It's funny that we're there because these blocks at face value look so strong, but again, there are certain block lines that they don't beat out any of the cards in the block.
Oh, for sure.
That's crazy to me.
To me, you have to combo with the whatever it is, either the destroy or the rejuvenation. If you're not comboing with those, or you have to go, or the block that you have to grab has to have such high value, like you were saying with sacrifice. But even then, just you have to think of the opportunity cost, right? That's what people talk about because you don't know if all those shits are going to line up. You don't know if everything's going to line up for you to actually have you do that. Just playing a combo is not enough. It's the cost of having that combo and then actually having it line up and then being able to use it. But I think the major point with these is the destroy, the rejuvenation. If you're comboing with that, then these are solid blocks. They have 2 endurance, so you can definitely slot them in a lot of decks.
Yeah. It's crazy because you look at it and they have everything, like you said, and there'll be decks that'll be like, no, thank you.
No, the style blocks are too good.
Yeah.
All right, moving on here to these kind of weak board control energies that style. You got concentrated power beam. That's a drill answer. It's a focused energy for 3. It's setup answer. Focused energy for 3. Destroy a setup. hit styled setups lose all effects until the end of the turn, and that's heroes only. And then the villain one is the drill answer, the warp blast, 2 for 3. I hate 2 for 3. Come on, 2 for 3.
Value.
2 for 3. Focus, destroy, drill, hit, style drills, lose all effects. I think the warp blast is better than the setup one. Just drill control decks are like, there's a higher chance for a drill control deck to have 7 drills on the board than it is for another control deck to have 7 setups on the board, or even 5 or 4 or 3 setups. When they get the setups, they're going to use them. They're not going to let them sit out,
right?
And just wait for you to use this concentrated blast to make them blank. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, you get so much more value from the warp blast than you do the power beam. So I agree. I just wish they did more damage.
Yeah, 2 for 3.
Like 1 endurance.
Ugh.
Something. I don't even know why it's banned. After use, it's not that good.
No, these shouldn't be BAU. These shouldn't be BAU. I can respect the low damage because of the immediate effect answer. So I can respect it because it's a non-styled immediate effect answer. We really don't have that. Outside of overwhelming power, but that's conditional. This is unconditional immediate effect answer. So I get it. 16, kind of a lot of support for 16. He's going to be able to have these answers because he tutors alignment traded cards to his hand.
Right.
So he can have like these answers on demand, which is interesting.
Yeah, you just gotta find some way to translate that into damage. He's gonna be good one day. One day. I don't know if it's yet. He might be good now. I don't know. I haven't played him since the set's release, but those traded cards are really powerful. It's just like making them work together in a cohesive way that's effective in a specific meta. It's like a perfect storm, and I don't think it's happened yet. So.
All right, and so now we're at the point of the MP cards. So I think we're gonna break this up into 2 casts because we talked longer than we intended to. So we'll come back again next time and talk about the MPs. Plus, it'll give us a more chance. Like, I know I've been building a lot of Tapion, but the other MPs I need to spend a little bit more time on trying to break them in certain styles. Especially, I want to spend some time with Hirudegarn because I think he has a lot of potential. What about you, Wayne? Like, let's just kind of get, what do you feel, like just general feel about the MPs right now?
I've been working with Janemba. I think Janemba is going to be a major player. Cooler One's obviously very good. I think Hirudegarn's a little weak. PyCon is good, but I still, and this is crazy, I still think that the old 2 is better for what the whole stack and his name suite offers. Turles is cool. I played Chris Kreisman. He did some really cool shit with Turles level 2 and Dynamic, so that's worth mentioning. I think that Tapion is good too, but I think that there's a Camp 1 build where he'll shine the brightest. I just don't know where that is. And I think that's my quick assessment.
Camp 1 Tapion?
Yeah.
You beast.
Yeah.
What are you doing over there, Camp 1 Tapion? Interesting.
I think there's something there. We'll get into it next time.
All right. So final thoughts on all that. So how do you think the styled cards and then the non-style cards are going to change the meta as final thoughts for this set?
Red is definitely going to be impacted by this set just because of the Gambit. Gambit is an insane card in red that's probably going to be in every red deck that is leveling. So I think that's going to be a real significant thing that comes from this set. I think that the blue energy wave is going to make blue Resolute decks a thing again. I know it was a little bit of a meme that blue was the weakest style not too long ago, so I think that might shake things up. And I also think that Distortion is going to give black a type of weapon that it needed to be seen a little bit more than it's been seen. Those are my 3 main takeaways from the set.
Yeah, a lot of people talked about the black card. I'm going to go back to it real quick. Distortion, okay. Yeah, I think a lot of people were talking about Diabolic Scheme because they felt it was too strong. But kind of like how you said that black just hasn't gotten those bombs lately. I think this is a good example of a bomb card. For inside the normal, like, typical black that we're used to seeing. Like, yeah, it's not an unpreventable 6 life card attack. I'm sorry, but it is unstoppable 2 damage. So, but yeah, I'd agree. I think orange took a big hit. Orange is still going to be a top contender because they have a lot of tools. They still got Palm Charge. All right, you're still going to be doing crazy Unleash builds. They still have Energetic Mastery. You're still going to be doing great things in orange style. Red Ruthless is going to come in as the big meta changer, I feel. There's just going to be so many Red Ruthless decks, and they're going to really push down the orange decks that are out there right now.
I like it.
And I think it's going to be a good meta answer. I always felt Red Ruthless was a great answer to orange, and I've always played Red Ruthless into orange, and I'll do that all day. But I know a lot of people don't like Red Ruthless. They don't like the stage pressure. So, but now with Gambit and with the evasive maneuver, I can't remember what it's called, but the block, Red Ruthless is going to come in strong. Huh?
Thought that was your favorite card. Can't
that
remember
is.
The name of it? That's crazy.
Oh, dude, my brain, like, there's only so much stuff you can fit in there. You gotta cut corners somewhere.
Yeah, bro, you need to buy some more space. Sign up for that premium brain.
All right, so and then I'm glad that Gohan was hit in the way that it was. I'm really glad Backlash is hit. That card was too good.
Don't even talk about Backlash, because I want to talk about Backlash at length when we do the MPs.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that. All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for so again, first episode of the RNG podcast. We ran kind of long this time, so we'll just kind of end here. We have lots more to talk about, but next time we get together, we will blow your mind with all the MPs, talk about the CRD, and then we will get in a real strong groove here with tons and tons of RNG content. So stay tuned, kids. And thanks, Wayne, for joining me.
Oh, it's fun. Anytime.